This is Brightside Home Theater. Hey, home theater nerds, welcome to the Brightside Home Theater Podcast. The Home Theater Podcast, it's all about the experiences, the sights,
the sounds,
the scenes.
Your volume, Steve, your volume. Come on.
Sorry, yeah, the scenes.
We worked on this in rehearsal. All right, he's back. The gang is all back together. Myself, my buddy John, and Scrooge.
Hey, let the record reflect. I'm the only one with the Christmas T-shirt on. Thank you.
Yeah,
very much.
yeah. You are bailing out on a sinking ship like crazy. After the October I went through, the movies I watched, the Malignant, all.
Oh, yeah.
All of this horror, we're barely into November, and I get never seen National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. You've seen the cover of the 4K disc. That's about it.
Look, I've got an excuse, and see if you'll go with me on this.
No excuse.
It's never Christmas to me until after my birthday. My birthday's on Sunday, the 13th of November.
Oh.
So it's after that, it's Christmas. Before that, it's just leading up to my birthday.
How many birthdays have you had since 1990? What? 1989. When did when did Christmas Vacation come out? 89?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
It's something like that.
Yeah. Oh, I tell you what. IMDb.
I think you've had a few birthdays. This is a great opening to the show. How in the world have you never seen Christmas Vacation?
Well, the weird thing is,
have you seen it, John? John's awfully quiet.
No, I've seen it, but same way you never see Lawrence of Arabia, or like, how do you don't see something for the same reason that you don't see anything, you know?
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you, I've seen it, but I haven't seen it 72 times. I don't watch it every year or on repeat. I've maybe seen it twice or three, you know what I mean? Like, it's not a staple for me.
I have a Christmas one that I've never seen.
Okay.
The entirety of
Die Hard?
No.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it in the last 20 minutes. No.
Right.
No, I haven't seen Die Hard since last year, and I'm dying to watch it this December. I can't wait. Home Alone.
You've never seen
I would
Home
say the
Alone?
same to you. How have you never seen Home Alone?
It's a kid's movie. I had zero interest in that movie. I have zero interest in that movie. It was about a kid running around going, ah! I had zero. How old were we when that came out? We were in our 20s. I had no interest in that movie when it came out.
In the 80s as well? Wasn't that in the 80s?
No.
Yeah, I don't know.
No, that was
when that came
90
out,
something. I had zero interest.
It is 89 for Christmas Vacation.
Yeah.
Home Alone.
I was 19 when that came out.
I mean,
1990. 1990.
That's pretty reductive.
Only a year after this.
That's a pretty reductive
was it?
description of Home Alone, though. You know what I mean? There's a lot more to it than just a kid running around going, ah!
I haven't seen it.
That was one commercial.
Right.
You know?
And that did not, and that's what I'm saying. That did not appeal to me. So I was like, I was 20 years old when it came out.
Yeah.
I had zero interest in it. And then ever since, I've just been like.
But how many birthdays have you had since you were 20?
Get it, John.
No.
Defend my honor.
No. Yeah. I never said I wanted to see it. I didn't. Right. He said, I'm going to defend this by saying Christmas doesn't start until after my birthday. Right. That's not a defense. He's had like 30 Christmases to do it. If he said, I don't like Chevy Chase, then I would say, okay, I have zero interest in seeing Home Alone. It never appealed to me. And nothing anybody could say to make me gonna go, wow, you got to see. It's a little kid running around, and it's like, I'm like, the parents forgot him. I don't get it.
I hadn't seen it for a long time, and I rewatched it when it came out on Disney Plus last year, whenever it was. I hadn't seen it for a very long time, and I must admit, watching it now with all the hindsight of it, the parents in it are vile. They may be worse than the burglars.
Right, they are, but it's still I don't know. I enjoy it.
Yeah.
I like the movie quite a bit.
Yeah. The slapstick is good.
Again, I don't watch it every year. It's not a Christmas staple.
Yeah.
But I watched it when it came on Disney Plus as well, and I hadn't seen it for 20 years probably.
Yeah.
But,
Right.
But yeah, it's a lot of fun.
I mean, it's not as problematic as the sequel because, of course, the sequel has a certain someone in it that,
Right.
you know, it pops up in it, which causes all kinds of issues. There's a little cameo in the sequel that, that people will know.
I haven't seen. Obviously, I haven't seen that. I wouldn't want to not understand it, having not seen the first one.
Yeah, right. The second one is way worse because you can almost go with it happening once, but it's kind of
is it? And it's the same kid the second time?
Yeah, it's the same kid. It's a different circumstance. He's lost in New York or something the second time around, but it's still, it's like, you know,
child services.
Once,
where are they?
Yeah.
Hey, but
maybe not twice.
But we'll give Die Hard 2 a pass. How can the same thing happen to the same guy twice?
Well, he's a cop. I mean, he's a cop.
But yeah. So back to Lampoons. Now the other, it's even worse than that, DJ. That I haven't seen this. It's even worse than you realise because I've seen National Lampoon's Vacation when they go to Wally World and European Vacation. I've seen those films countless times. I've seen them.
Yeah,
and I happen to love European Vacation.
Big Pen.
I think that's great. Yeah, it's just the restaurant. Rusty, he's going to pork her right here at the table. I just think that's absolutely brilliant.
I love that scene.
I quote that more often than is decent.
Doesn't he look back and he goes, "All right, maybe you're right."
Yeah, I think he is right. Yeah, exactly. So so I've seen those loads and I love those, and yet I've never seen this. So so
you love the family, you love the idea of it. Yeah, you just haven't seen it, which is weird. It's like
but it looks to be all different people, other than Beverly D'Angelo and Chevy Chase. The kids seem to.
The kids are all different. Yeah, this is actually Leonard from Big Bang Theory is the son.
Okay. And then Juliette Lewis.
Juliette Lewis is the daughter. Yep, and they're obviously really young. That's the thing is I've watched, I think I saw it in the theater. Jen and I saw it together and I've just been ever since. It's so funny. It's just,
I'm looking forward to
it.
And
I love Christmas. That's the other part that I love it too is I'm Clark. I'm like, that's what I do. Me and my dad, that's what I do at the house. I'm like, I go over the top with everything. So you just love that idea of going over the top with everything with Christmas, and so that's what makes it fun.
I'm looking forward to it. Now that's the only Christmas release I've bought this week. I mean, you've got what is it? Miracle on 34th Street, Christmas Story, Polar Express,
Elf, a bunch of them.
Elf. Yeah. Which I've not bought any of those. This is the only one I've bought because the others. I mean, I've seen Elf. I don't particularly. It's all right, but I only saw it a couple of years ago. I didn't grow up with it. And the others don't quite do much for me. So between that one, It's a Wonderful Life, which I only saw this year for the first time. Talk about films you haven't seen.
Oh no, I've seen that. I've never seen Miracle on 34th Street.
I
have seen It's a Wonderful Life.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen Miracle on 30. Not the whole thing. I know it's been on in the background for stuff.
But yeah, I won't purchase any of those either. I'm
no. John and I said that a couple of weeks ago when we were talking about these. I'm like, I got Christmas Vacation just because I want it up on my tiles on my screen. I don't think I'm actually going to sit. It's like a decoration, really, is what I purchased because I don't think I'm going to sit in the. I don't think I'm going to sit in my theater and just watch Christmas Vacation because I watch it everywhere else all the time. I watch it in the living room. I own it in like every format. It's not an action movie to me. I've heard that this new 4K is really nice though, so maybe I will sit and watch it at least once. Right. All the reviews on it are coming out are really good. So
yeah, they are, and everyone is saying it's a good film. No one has said, "Oh, it's it's rubbish." Everyone says it's great. So
nobody.
So yes, no
That's
one.
Rare.
So, I might be the first. You never know,
right?
But we'll
now all this build up.
Yeah.
I
didn't get it.
So I'm looking forward to it. I will give that a watch, but it's too soon. I can't watch it yet. I've got to wait till after my birthday. I can't. It's not Christmas yet.
Don't
let the shirt fool you.
Yeah, honestly, I don't even start like
December.
Once the Sunday before Thanksgiving we start. That's when we do the tree now. That's when we're doing everything. And that's what I start wearing. I have all my shirts and everything. I have a Christmas shirt for every day. I have all of that stuff. So that's all I wear all the time. I have baseball caps. I still believe, all that. So
We don't even put our tree up anymore. So
Shocker.
I don't really go overboard about the Christmas.
Overboard? You don't even get on board.
I don't even get on board. The thing is, like, I have my store now, which is still kind of retail, but I mean, we have worked retail.
Yeah.
For 40 years, my wife and I. You start hearing Christmas songs in August,
Yeah.
I mean, you're putting out Christmas tree. Lydia's been decorating trees for 4 weeks already. It's like, it just killed Christmas for both of us. I mean, we went through the motions for the kids when they were little, of course, but like now we don't put a tree up. We don't do anything. Like, it's just, I don't know.
Do you decorate the store? Do you put stuff up in the store?
I don't. No.
Okay.
No, I don't.
Oh, I'd go hog
I don't
wild.
decorate for any holidays in the store.
But does it get any busier though? Presumably it gets busier at this time.
It will, yes.
Yeah. So,
yeah. Sales will start to pick up the end of, basically Black Friday through the holidays.
So by the time you get to Christmas, you must be just fed up of the whole thing anyway, because you've been busy for all that time. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what it's always been for us. Christmas is just, I mean, I loved it when I was a kid.
Yeah.
But I mean, as an adult, my whole life, it's just been a season that's not been fun for us.
Yeah.
So we don't. We don't really
it's,
go overboard with it.
Yeah. I worked retail at Christmas when I was doing my law degree. I worked at a video game store, and at Christmas it was just
insane.
Ridiculous.
And people get so rude, and it's just, it brings out the worst. It's supposed to bring out the best in people. Except when you're out in public, and it's like the opposite.
Except for when you're around people.
When you're around people, because even in restaurants and stores, like, people just get so rude, and so
when people are home all by themselves, they're great.
Yeah,
once they get around anybody, they're mean.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's
word
see.
to live by, John.
so John's Ghost of Christmas Past, then DJ's Ghost of Christmas Present, and then I haven't seen this yet, so I'll be Ghost of Christmas Future.
I'm thinking more Eben. I'm more Scrooge than any of the ghosts, honestly.
Oh yeah.
Right,
you
we're
are.
gonna have to find someone.
Always have been.
Yeah. I get it. I mean, I get it. It is a time of year that is. It's hard. A lot of people find it really difficult, don't they, because of the nature of it, and it is stressful, and there's a lot of pressure to do all kinds of stuff. So I get that. But then that's a good excuse to escape into our home theaters, lock the door, and just not come out till January.
There you go. All right.
Not until Puxatawny Phil comes out.
Yeah.
All right. Let's do some promos here for ourselves, so that maybe we can get some Christmas presents. Maybe? No? All right. If you're following us along on YouTube, let's see. Where is our promo page? Where did it go? Nope. Is that it? There it is. There it is. If you're following us along on YouTube, greatly appreciated. But if you haven't hit that subscribe button, please do. Mash that like button as well, as John always says. You can follow us on Twitter at BrightSideHT. You can follow us. You can see this podcast, all the other podcasts at BrightsideHomeTheater.com at the website. There's also a place there to buy us a box of popcorn. It's just a couple little links, and it's a PayPal situation. And you can do a $5, $10, or as much as you'd like. You can email us, BrightsideHomeTheater@gmail.com, and that's one of the best ways to get on the show. But you can also email each of us, DJ at BrightsideHomeTheater.com, John at BrightsideHomeTheater.com, although we don't know where those go yet.
Yeah, I was going to say that they're not getting answered.
Steve at BrightsideHomeTheater.com. You can email each of us at that. But as I mentioned before, BrightsideHomeTheater@gmail.com if you'd like to be on the show, or actually you could use any of the other ones as well. Be on the show for Takeover Tuesdays, and that's one of the ways to get on into the green room, which we have people watching in the green room right now because we live stream to the green room these shows. Steve's waving, but I've actually, let me do that again, Steve. There you go. He's waving. I had the graphic up for all of our links. Steve's waving away.
Nobody can see.
And John, you want to tell everybody about your favorite?
Sure. Patreon.com/BrightsideHomeTheater.
There we go. And our patron of the week this week is Mark Hader. And Patron.
Why did I write that down if you were just going to say it?
I forgot, but see, I screwed up rehearsal. I'm sorry. You said it as little work as possible. I didn't think you were writing. So, how many months has he been a patron there, John?
4 months.
There we go. Thank you, Mark. Really appreciate that.
Smooth, boys. Smooth.
I know.
We're nothing if not polished.
Yes.
Polished like a lump of coal.
I mean, I could have just let it go and nobody would know.
I know.
It's not in my DNA to do that.
Poor John actually wrote something down and didn't. Why did I do all of that work and write down all those letters in a row?
I burned like 6 calories writing that down. So.
Oh, boy. All right. So last week, in all of the excitement with the anniversary, having all 3 of us here, I forgot to mention our donation for the month. So this month, I did mention last month we would be doing something towards men's health. So this month, we are going to be doing Movember. And the way I will have a link in the show notes on where I donate. So every year, I've had Rich Keefe on the podcast. He's of #Dork. His partner on that podcast is Ryan Davey. And every year in November, they grow out their mustaches. They do the whole thing. And Ryan raises money for Movember. So I donate to him anyways. But now, in addition, we are also going to be donating to Ryan Davey's cause for Movember. It all goes to Movember. So we're giving to Movember this month. Half of our money, which right now we're at $148. So, but we always give a minimum of $100. So an additional $100 will be going to Ryan Davey's Movember account. And because that one, and if you're not familiar with what Movember is, it started out with prostate, and it has developed into just overall general men's health, even evolved into mental health as well for therapy and all of that. So my dad had prostate cancer. We all know people that had it. My uncle has it, and probably I'm going to have it. They say most men get it, but it's all like getting checked out and making sure you do all that stuff. So, yeah. So that's where that's going for this month. Any comments, questions, guys?
No, I think it's a great cause. So
it is. My dad's had that too. So it's close to my heart as well.
Yeah. So, and if you, like I said, link will be in the show notes, and you can look up. I'll have the link for Movember in general, but I'll also have the link to go to Ryan Davey's account if you want to give on your own to that. Or if you want to, buy us a box of popcorn and half, or if you want to just tell me what it's all going to that, whatever you want to do. But that's where the money's going to go. So let's get to it. So, all right. Thank you, everybody, for that in advance. All right. Tweaks for the week. That's what we're getting to now. All right. John, do you have one this week?
No tweaks this week. No tweaks this week.
Just laughing at Steve. Steve's like, I shouldn't even be here for this one anymore.
I am not going behind my theater.
No, I'm not.
Did you change the batteries in a remote or something?
Yeah.
I was going to give a shout out to a tweak that I didn't make. That's been on Twitter today. I don't know if you've seen it. Now, this may be completely out of left field and entirely inappropriate, but I just wanted to give a shout out to someone who's done a very cool tweak that we all know. Have you seen, in fact, I know you saw it, DJ, because you mentioned it earlier, Todd Anderson's NX8?
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, I looked it up over here because I was curious as to the price. £16,000 in the UK. It's just shy of $20,000 over here.
Yeah. It's like 60. They're like 16 grand over here. That's how much they are over here.
So pretty crazy.
Yeah, they're nice.
It's a big tweak.
It's quite the tweak. Yeah, they're lasers. Wow. And, laser projector. They're really, really nice projectors. But he put out what's in the box. He did the video, and that's when I sent him the.
You couldn't resist.
You couldn't
resist, could you?
Well, when I made the tweet, all I wanted to do was send a GIF or a GIF, however people want to yell at me to say it, of like opening the box, and I found the one of Morgan Freeman, like that scene. And then I was like, oh, this would be great. Like, what's in the box? Like, it's a Sony. Because you'd be like, because you have the divide between the JVCs and the Sony, and you open your JVC box and there's a Sony in there. You're like, ah! So, yeah, it was good.
But
that was good.
Yeah, that thing looks like an absolute beast. It really does.
Yeah.
Wow.
It does. Yeah, that's what our man Steve Brock has.
Oh, really? Wow. Steve Brock.
Yeah, he has one of those, and he was thinking of upgrading to the 9, which is like $10,000 more. But I talked him out of it. I'm like, you won't use it. It's like you get all this extra brightness that you're just gonna go and turn it all down. So
it's so when I don't have a tweak, I'm just going to adopt someone else's, if that's okay.
There you go. Well, that's not a bad idea. Damn it, DJ Brock. Brockside just chimed in. Damn it, DJ. Now, I don't know if he's saying because I said Steve Brock or if I'm saying because I talked him out of it. But yeah, he just chimed in. Hey, buddy.
His bank manager was happy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, it just went somewhere else, right?
Right. Yeah, exactly.
The money just went to another piece of equipment.
But that's not a bad idea for, Steve, a tweak of a week. It doesn't have to be one you did. It could be one that you saw and you'd like to do.
I'm going to steal it.
So
yeah, here Steven Spielberg's got a lovely theater. So I'm going to nick him left, right, and center. Yeah. Kevin Smith's just bought a theater. Does that count? Can we have that?
Oh, there you go. Yeah. All right. My tweak for this week. This was fun. And it goes right into what I watched this week as well. But I updated my Lumagen. It's had 12 updates since I bought it, and I hadn't updated it at all. So I'm really excited about that. It's supposed to have. Honestly, I'm not going to say that I'm like, wow, it's so much. I don't see a difference. I really don't. It's running smoother, maybe. I don't know. But there are supposed to be some updates coming soon, so I wanted to get it updated because I'm going to play around with those because they're in, obviously, competition with Mad VR, so they're adding some stuff that's supposed to.
It's nice that they deliver those updates to legacy product and not make you buy a new version to do that. Well, because not every company does that.
No, Lumagen's a little different. Lumagen is like, and I think that's what. The more I get into it, like when I bought it because it was
you got
pretty
a deal
much,
on it. Yeah.
Well, no, I knew who Lumagen was, but I didn't know the extent. And Mad VR was almost next to nothing at the time. They were more of a PC version. They were just coming to the foot with the Envy at the time. But anyways, this is more like they, listen to the customers. And they add things. And one of the things they add, and I was on the AVS forum with Jim Peterson, owner of Lumagen. He actually wrote up a thing because they're going to do the dynamic switching for aspect ratios like the Mad VR does. Instantaneous switching. And they're saying, he came out and he goes, look, I don't want this. I think it's wrong. He goes, this isn't what the director intended, and that's what I always try to put out what the director intended. But if my customers want it, I have to do it. So he's doing it, which is cool, because you don't have to use it. I won't use it. I'm going to try it. I'll put my screen up in a 240, and I'll try it, see how it works. But it's supposed to be instantaneous. It's supposed to be pretty good. But the other thing I did is because I'm getting more into the Lumagen and the nitty gritty of it, I added that digital masking that Todd had talked about that his JVC does. So I added that to my Lumagen and then went in and added the button onto my Harmony remote. So if I'm watching a movie like Top Gun Maverick that has variable, and I don't want to watch it in variable, pop that on and it just stays 240-1 the entire time. And I can watch the whole movie just like that. And I did. And it was, and I watched another movie as well that we'll get to when we get to Experiences of the Week. And it was like Todd said, it was really good. I brought my son in. I was like, watch this. And I watched a scene where it transitioned and it's it's the scene when he's like, welcome, aviators, that scene there. And it's like starts out when they're in the classroom, I think, or on the tarmac, and then it opens up. And when you're just watching it, it just flows. And, the cinematography is still really good. It's widescreen. This is one Top Gun Maverick. I will say I will watch it in variable most of the time. But I don't see an issue anymore with if you don't like it, put up something like this. If you have a JVC, just put up something like this. If you have an option, just mask it out. And it's really good. It was a lot of fun. So, and I'll talk a little bit more about it later when I get to one of the movies that I watched this week. So it was fun. All right. We are up to listener experiences now. Let's see what we got here.
Before you do that, DJ.
Yep.
Did you want to give a disc away?
Ooh, you are so smart. Look at you go.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, since we were talking about that, I have 17 movies here to give away.
Is one of them Home Alone?
It's a good question. I wouldn't be surprised. No. Nope.
Oh.
All right. So since I was just talking about Top Gun Maverick, let's give out a Top Gun Maverick digital version, digital code for Top Gun Maverick, given to us by I've got 4 of them here. We'll give the first ones from, he was the first one to give it to me. Mike Schramm, Love and Thunder. He gave us his digital code for Top Gun Maverick. And I will also give away a disc. First person to contact me and ask for, this is a big one. I think this is a pretty popular one too. Nelson was very kind. Spears and Munsell Blu-ray disc. The 4K Blu-ray disc for calibrating your system. It's a great disc.
Oh, shit. Claim. I need that.
I should have told you. I know you want it.
Yeah, you should have told me.
I know, but I couldn't do that and be like, "Hey, give these away." All right, I gave it to
fine.
John.
None of these are for us, man.
Right.
But I do need one of those.
I know. It is a great disc. I have it. It's super complicated, but there's a lot of great images on there for looking at your stuff on your screen. So, those are the 2 right there. For right now, what's today? 11/8, right? I put that out. So 11/8, 11/8. And we still also haven't had Star Trek II Wrath of Khan hasn't been claimed, and Bram Stoker's Dracula hasn't been claimed. All, 4K digital codes. So those are still up for grabs. And yeah. So Steve, if you want to alert us, we'll do that again later in the show.
Mm-hmm. So, I put it in the notes.
Look at you go. Wow.
Right.
Hey, you know what? You're redeeming yourself there, Mr. Grinch.
I think I'm no longer the Grinch. I think we've passed that mantle.
I think I took that title away.
All right. Let's see. Let me get to the folders now. Oh, DJ Home Theater.
While you're looking for those, DJ, can I just a little bit of news?
Absolutely.
It's really for John and I. You can tune out. So this is why when you're looking at that, you don't need to worry about it.
I'm not even needed. I love this. My podcast running all by itself.
That's it. You can moderate away.
Nice.
There's been a report today, came out today on Forbes, John, that the World Cup matches are going to be in 4K HDR.
Oh, really?
The BBC are going to broadcast them. So over there, is it ESPN that would show them there?
Probably ESPN.
Yeah. So would they show them in 4K? Is there a 4K channel or an option there?
They should, yes. Yeah, they should.
Fubo does a lot with World Cup stuff, and it might not necessarily be. I know there's a lot of soccer on Fubo. Fubo, when it first came to being, it was a sports app for 4K, and it was mostly all European stuff.
See, most of my games are Peacock and Paramount Plus, but they don't do 4K. They don't do any of them in 4K. So.
Oh, okay. Who does the Premiership ones over there then? Is that Peacock?
That's Peacock. Yeah.
Right.
Peacock.
Okay.
And then Paramount Plus does Champions League and Serie A. Yeah.
I'm amazed ESPN aren't showing those over there. You'd have thought that it would be their sort of
they
their
do
wheelhouse.
A lot of MLS
Okay.
is on like ESPN Plus, but and I think the like La Liga and some of the other European leagues they do, but not the two that I watch.
Oh, okay. Well, hopefully you can get hold of a World Cup stream. I mean,
I hope so.
all of the England games are going to be in 4K HDR. I can't wait.
I have BBC America, and maybe they will do them in 4K. So I'll check into it.
Yeah, it's worth looking. Looking forward to that. It's only November 18th, not long to go now. So next weekend. So that'll be great. Weird having a football or soccer World Cup in winter.
Yes.
Very strange. The final's on the 18th of December. A friend of mine was saying to me the other day, so you could watch the final and then go out in a Santa outfit. Just what is that all about? Right. Very weirded out by the whole thing. But there we go.
Have you looked into Fubo at all, John? For 4K, especially for soccer, there's a lot of 4K stuff on there.
I'll have to look at it, but again, I won't sign up for that streaming service just
for that.
Just for that, I don't think, since I can get the games in the services I already pay for.
Right.
I'd love to have them in 4K, but I don't know if they would offer them. So I'll have to look into it.
Yeah. All right.
That's an unfortunate name, isn't it? You say Fubo, I just hear Fubar.
Yeah.
I did too when I first thought, and I'm like, I can't go with this one. That's all I'm going to think every time I say it. I'm like, it was such a weird name. I don't know where that came from, but
oh well. Anyway, a little bit of news. It came out today.
That's awesome.
Dan Carpenter, who has now been known as Danny Speakers, if you notice on Twitter, he changed his name. He used to be at Skippy Turtle. Now he's at Danny Speakers. So we have Johnny Speakers, Danny Speakers.
The Speaker Boys.
Yeah, the Speaker. I heard that on the podcast
I did. Take them on Tuesday.
The Speaker Brothers. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And Dan is like, he buys, he's on his 7th set or something for this year, his 7th upgrade to his theater. He's constantly tweaking.
Yeah.
Constantly tweaking.
We'll always have something for Tweak of the Week.
Yeah, exactly. Tweak of the minute for him. Okay, so Dan says, he's like, right after Hondo says he's the fastest man alive, there is a nice thump from my subs in the, obviously, Top Gun Maverick right at the beginning. So I wanted to get that out to everybody so you could check it out for yourselves. I haven't, since reading this, I didn't think to look for it, but I will. But that sounds really interesting. That little bit of a thump. It's fun when you get those little details like that, especially after seeing it so many times.
I was going to say, DJ, I'm mildly disappointed in you. I thought you'd be able to go, yes, that is 53 minutes and 24 seconds.
No,
it's into the. I mean, how many times have you seen it? Come on.
I know. And I just saw it again this week. Honestly, I've lost track. I have lost track because it's like, when you get to a point, you're like, okay, well, I think that time, but then there was that time, and I've lost track.
You've seen it more times than Tom Cruise, I'm thinking.
Oh, no doubt.
Maybe. Yes, John. Yes, you can. So that's going out to John. So,
but I can what?
Not you.
Oh,
Johnny Speakers. I'm just saying yes to him right now. He knows what I'm talking about. So, all right.
Code.
Yeah, code. One of the perks of being in the green room, my friends. Right. If you read the green room chat, you'll know what it says.
Be weird looking at ourselves.
Yeah, it's like I can't read that and pay attention to this at the same time.
Oh, like you pay attention anyways, John. You tell me all the time.
But I'd be on a completely different window.
All right. Another comment is RRR in Dolby Vision on Netflix. I believe it was.
I think it was.
Yes. It was.
It was. Mm-hmm.
Yes. And let's see. We have a new YouTube handle on YouTube. Our handle now, if you want to follow us along on YouTube, it's at Brightside HT. I don't know if anybody's seen that they're rolling out new handles to simplify. Yeah. So I gave us the same one that we have for Twitter and pretty much where I've tried to do everywhere else. It's Brightside HT, so you don't have to type out home theater anymore. I thought I'd mention that. All right. Randy, have been enjoying your podcast for about a year and have to strongly agree that Top Gun is the best reference disc I have had since beginning in home theater. I rented the stream version and have to say that in no way evokes the excitement of the 4K disc that came from Amazon today. I just watched the first 15 minutes and it gave me goosebumps, and that hasn't happened in a long time in response to a movie. I'm one of your older listeners at age 70 and live in Prince Georgia, British Columbia, Canada, home of the WHL Cougars, for who Zdeno Chara played among others. I have loved movies since my dad first took me to the Old Strand Theater when I was 6. Our town didn't even have TV then. My home theater journey is much like yours, only longer. I have got the bug from when my son-in-law set up a bed sheet and a little projector in my living room, and I have since converted a basement bedroom into a 524 Atmos theater with a 128-inch screen and Epson 4K projector. Anyway, I'm getting long-winded, but love your podcast because your passion for movies is infectious. Keep it up. Your brother in movies, Randy. Yeah, that's when you get stuff like that, that gives me chills, Randy. You know, you see stuff like this, and thank you very much. Yeah, your journey is a little longer. Yeah, pretty cool that it's not. It sounds like he was into movies, and then the home theater bug got him when his son-in-law is like, "Check this out,"
right?
And he's like, "Oh wait."
There's more.
Yeah, it's like, oh, that's awesome. That's so cool.
We all want to be into home cinema when we're 70.
Yeah.
How cool is that?
Well, I want to be skating when I'm 70. I'm pretty sure I'll be into home theater when I'm 70. I'm like, unless I lose that is one of the things. Like if I lost my sight or something.
Yeah.
You know, honestly, I think if I lost my sight, you would still find me in there. I'd just be like listening.
Descriptive audio.
Yeah. And I'd just be like, all right, did you hear that in the back of the room or something? You know. But getting to that first 15 minutes of Top Gun, of Maverick, it is demo stuff. It's just so good. Especially for anybody that's a fan of the original, right? Because it's just it mirrors it at the beginning. Did you guys did you watch the video that John Brock sent us of where they had them playing simultaneous?
No.
The 1986 Top Gun.
I missed that one.
Oh, it's like above and below, right? And they're in the widescreen format, but above and below, I think actually the modern one, actually Maverick does do the variable aspect ratio. But it's like name drop at the same time. Everything. It's like I mean, it's it's like dead on. And
beat for beat.
It's so good. It's so good. Yeah, I thought he sent it to all of us. I think it's in the green room somewhere.
I didn't see
I'll have a look.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, we said last week, didn't we? That opening few minutes is demo stuff, right up to the point where he walks into the diner. From the Paramount logo to when he walks into the diner is a mini film, and it's a demo sequence in and of itself. It's just short enough to be a demo of a number of things you're showing people, and not just right. Yeah, it's great. Very cool.
Oh, absolutely. So cool. Let's see. WV Brew. Here's my copy of Top Gun Maverick on analog 70mm IMAX film. Thanks, I'm happy with my UHD disc. Did you see that one on Twitter where it had some? Oh my God. Huge.
Just giant spool of
the
film.
Giant spool. I think it was Carl sent me like a year and a half ago or a long time ago, like the actual, like the camera goes through the way the IMAX, the way they set that up and how they have to thread that all the way through. It's like, it's an entire room. It's like it looks like a domino set, the way it has to go around everything. It's pretty cool. Oh yeah. It's huge. It's huge.
I'm amazed that they're not just using digital IMAX projectors. I'm amazed they're still using celluloid because, of course, each time it goes through, it's degrading, isn't it? So you'd think that the whole point is you want to get the crystal clear image. So I'm surprised there's still a 70mm print, as it were, still exists.
I know.
You think it'd just be digital now? But there we go.
Artists like to work in, that's what they want to do.
Different medium.
Medium, yeah. Let's see. Yet another tweeting barrister. I think this is a buddy of yours, Steve, right?
Uh-oh.
On Twitter? No, that's what it says. Yet another tweeting barrister. That's his name.
Yeah.
You know.
Is it a tweety by...
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Tweeting yet, at tweeting yet. At Legal Beagle OK, at Brightside HC, at Arkham Comics. Well, I agree with you about Moneyball. I know even less than you about baseball, and I love that film. 2 omissions. And I love these. I love when we start talking about greatest certain genre, and there's always something we missed. But right. 2 omissions. 1, Draft Day, which is like Moneyball in that it focuses on the business side of the sport rather than the field. Terrific slow build and great climax. Where's the other omission? Okay. That was it.
He omitted it.
He omitted it.
It was omitted. That was the end of the free consultation, obviously.
Like, 2 omissions.
Right. You got to sign up to get number 2.
I'm like, am I not getting them all?
Elon would approve.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Like, what happened there? Okay. Whoops.
Yeah.
All right.
Oops. Yeah. Lawyers,
YouTube. Van Gool commented on All Quiet on the Western Front. I remember when you did Die Hard with your son here years ago. Can't believe it's been 3 years. Steve and John, keep up the good work. Talk about our anniversary. And I'm like, yeah, I've done Die Hard every year with my son. It comes out, drops on Christmas Eve.
Can't wait to see it again.
What's that?
Such a good film. Can't wait to see it again. I mean, obviously, not in Japanese. Don't let the poster in the cinema room fool you. But I am looking forward to watching it again. You cannot see that film too many times. It's impossible.
Now, John, you like the movie. You just don't like it as a Christmas movie.
I love the movie.
Okay,
I just don't think I just don't consider it a Christmas movie. I love the film. I've seen it many times.
Oh,
I know.
We get at it every year.
I give up. Yeah, I give up. I don't continue to fight the fight, but it's not a Christmas Eve viewer for me. I'll watch it throughout the year. Like,
yeah.
Yeah, you can. Yeah.
Oh, you can watch it when it came out in July. I think it
that's what I'm saying. I'll watch the movie
maybe
once a year, but it's not a Christmas movie for me.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah,
I can watch it whenever.
Yeah, I could too, but I've watched it so many times. I wore out the VHS tape, but I've watched it so many times that what I end up doing is I push that, just like First Blood. You take that and you give it that Christmas moniker, just so it be all right, something to look forward to, another time to sit down and watch it again on purpose, But otherwise, I'd probably just be watching it all the time. Like Star Wars.
Guys, you mentioned First Blood. Help me out with this. I was thinking about this the other day because that's one of my favorite films. I love that film. And this is the first time I've got to talk to 2 Americans about it. So help me out with this. Where is it set? I've always imagined it in the Pacific Northwest, sort of up in the...
Yes.
Now, is it there or is it sort of Vermont way? I mean, it's not New Hampshire. It's not East Coast.
We don't have those kind of mountains here.
No, exactly. Well, that's it. That's what I thought. It's not Maine. No. It doesn't look like Maine. No. So it's not Vermont way. It's supposed to be Pacific Northwest.
Like Seattle,
it's like supposed to be in Seattle, Oregon, something like that. Because they even said in the movie, like he's going to make his way to Canada or something. So he's in the Pacific Northwest.
Well, you could do that from the Northeast as well.
Yeah, no, I get that. But I know that's definitely not our landscape here. Even the way those trees are laid out and stuff, that's definitely more... I mean, I've hiked stuff similar to that, but nothing with the landscape, like the vastness of what they had there.
Have you had any problems with any local sheriffs?
Not lately.
Not lately.
In our youth.
That is a film that I could talk to.
John and I were more like the Duke boys then.
Right.
And we were like Rambo.
Yeah. You had Confederate flags on the top of your cars, guys? Why are you not telling me?
No, but we drove like we did.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, man. So which one of you was Daisy? Which one of you was Bo?
Well, I had the shorts.
It's Cooter.
At least you didn't say Flash.
Right.
Yeah. I've always wondered that about it. I mean, I love that film. That's one you could do a 12-hour podcast on that film and still keep going. I love that movie. And And so I've also always wondered. The other thing is, just very quickly, because I know the time again, but I've got you here and we're talking about it. So now is my chance.
We're captive, John.
Yeah. So you can't escape. It's live. Can't go anywhere. Yeah. So why? One of the things I wondered is when he says to him, when Will Teasel, the sheriff, says to Stallone in the car, and I think that's one of the great cinema scenes, by the way, is that first initial trip in the car where he's saying, "Why are you pushing me?" Now, when he says, "Wearing that uniform, looking the way you do, you're asking for trouble around here,"
right?
Is that an anti-war statement? Is that what that is? Is that the public blame the vets coming back from Vietnam? And therefore, wearing that, looking that way, you're going to get trouble, or is it because he's disheveled and he's not looking after the uniform? I don't.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Sorry, I know it's completely off topic.
More that
I think it was the disheveled, and it's like
there was a lot of anti-war.
Yeah,
with Vietnam veterans coming back, but I don't know if
that comes back to that at the end, doesn't it?
Right.
At the end, he talks about they spitting on them when they got off the plane and that kind of stuff.
Right.
So that's what I could never quite figure out which one it was.
Yeah, I'm
not sure actually, because now thinking about it, like that part of the country wasn't very pro war or military, right? So they probably weren't commenting on his appearance as much, because those rallies were California. That's where the I don't know.
Yeah.
So every time I watch it, that occurs to me, and I always think, is it because it's an anti-war statement?
No, I think
the locals who are quite liberal would look at it and think, "You're a soldier. We don't like the fact you've been in Vietnam. We baby killers and all this sort of stuff," which he talks about at the end in his speech that he gives his monologue.
But see,
or whether it's just disgracing the uniform.
Yes, I think from Teasel's perspective, I think it's disrespecting the uniform. It's the vagrancy thing. That's what he was getting him on. He was because Teasel's a veteran, right?
Yeah, Korea.
Right. So Teasel gets it, and Teasel's like, "You're disrespecting the uniform." He doesn't like him. He doesn't want him in this town. And next thing, and that's what he says. He goes, "Next thing you know, we got a bunch of you in this town." And it's like he was judging him on his looks and his disrespecting the uniform, and that he's just going to hang out and cause trouble. Right. And he didn't want that. And I think I think his overall, now, if he was clean cut soldier, I think Teasel would have been like, "I'll buy you a coffee." Right. So I don't necessarily think it was I don't think it was his I don't think Teasel necessarily had the anti-war sentiment, but that's what Rambo's perception of the public was. And it's like how difficult that's why he was the way he was. So I think Teasel's perception of him was just based on his disrespecting and just being a vagrant, looking like a bum, but still wearing the uniform.
Yeah, it's fascinating. Sorry we've got off the topic of whatever we were talking about, but it's just one of those things. Another quickly, then, while we're talking that, very quickly then. So Rambo is named after an apple, according to David Morrell that wrote it. And I think I put up on Twitter once that I'd read somewhere that Teaser was based on a walnut. And David Morrell responded to my tweet and said, "No."
Oh, really?
So Teaser, he did.
Nice.
He said, so it's not a walnut. I could have swore in the commentary. Rambo is definitely named after an apple. That is correct. Yeah. But I could have swore he said in that commentary that Teasel was named after a walnut. But he said no, that's not true.
He said no.
So he wrote the book. I'm not going to criticize.
Right.
There you go.
Anyway, sorry guys. Sorry.
No, that's a good one. That's a good one, especially when he writes back to you. I read his. Did you read the book, right?
Oh, I love the book. Yeah. And listen to the commentary on the DVD as well.
Yeah.
And there's a lot. It's a very different book to the film.
Very different. Yeah, especially the ending.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry, fellas.
All right, no problem. Mike Schramm commented on last week's podcast. Excited to see Bullet Train after hearing John and Steve. Hopefully it will get a Black Friday discount. Okay, added to the algorithm. Time to go watch Maverick again. I read that and I thought it was funny. I'm like, I liked it. I just wasn't like, wow, I think I'm just so excited about Maverick. Nothing can live up to that. So I'm like, how am I going to have multiple viewings of Bullet Train after that?
Yeah, I mean, I loved it. I'll be curious to see what you think of it, John. Now, if you get it in 4K and see it at home, it'll be interesting to see.
I was also waiting for but it's too new to get a Black Friday sale this year.
I think.
Yeah. Although they just knocked Elvis. I just bought Elvis for $9.99. So
wow,
really?
And that just came out.
Yeah,
a month ago. A month or so
great
ago.
deal.
That came out in September. Yeah.
Black Friday deals. I spent $150 yesterday on more movies.
X1, X2, Friday the 13th.
Yep. I spent on your
Chainsaw
grave.
Massacre. Yeah.
Halloween ends.
And DJ ordered Home Alone 1, Home Alone 2, Home Alone 3.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't. Love and Thunder coming in with happy anniversary DJ on YouTube. Thank you, Love and Thunder.
I think
Add it to the algorithm again.
Add it to the algorithm again. Yeah. By the way, Love and Thunder just insulted us. He's like, glad I made the live stream. Almost forgot. I was like, thanks. We're forgettable now. Yeah. We've been streaming for a week and we're already forgettable, guys.
Yeah.
Let's see that one now. We're gonna have to skip that.
Like we care if there's anybody else listening. We're just having a chat on the bus stop.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. Here's a longer email from G Cornell. It says, listening to your chat with Todd right now as I've watched the film 2 times today. It's fresh. Talking about Top Gun Maverick. Wow. I think a lot of the evaluation of the sound has to do with our rooms, our gear, our speakers, and how well we hear. How well the soundtrack is reproduced in our rooms. A scene that may stand out to you may not stand out to me, and vice versa. I'm pleased that you also heard the banging on the right mid-wall of the X-Files scene. In Top Gun Maverick, the scene where I heard the most overhead sound was the helicopter bringing Maverick to see Radm, R-A-D-M. I didn't know that was his name, but Chester, it's when he came in on the Coast Guard helicopter.
Right.
Chester Hammer Kane early in the movie. Harris will be 72 this month, looks closer to 80 in the film. The military funeral scene, muted playing of taps, as was the 3-volley gun salute. Director intent to keep the sound subdued. At the same time, drawing on personal experience as my father was in the Air Force, I vividly remember his funeral, the bugler blew taps, loud and clear, and the sound carried across a wide area. The 3-volley gun salute with 4 riflemen were about 200 feet away, and the sound was so loud I recoiled every time they fired. The way I'm looking at this, and feel free to agree or disagree, having watched a lot of X-Files recently, X-Files sound is Newt Scamander magic wand. Is that somebody from... I don't know what
Scarmander.
There you go. Scarmander.
Yeah, that's Fantastic Beast.
Okay, Newt Scarmander's magic wand, a gentle powerfulness, finesse, and delicacy. Top Gun Maverick is Thor's hammer blasting off with an orchestral payload. What do you guys say to that?
I think Maverick is a little bit more sophisticated than that.
Yeah.
I think there's power, but there's subtlety in that, which we talked about last week, didn't we? About there is a lot more going on in that track than most action movies would have, both in the quiet scenes and in the louder scenes as well. I mean, when Maverick is doing the run to prove it can be done, you can hear the cranking of the movement of the mechanics of the sticks. As he's moving left and right, you can hear the mechanic clunk as he does that. Now, most films would have got rid of that. They would say that's a messy noise, but that's been left in deliberately to give you that mechanical kind of feel, the power of what he's doing, and the sheer kind of kinetic energy that's going into moving the plane, and that's the sort of stuff that most action films would have long since got rid of. You listen to Stealth. Again, I'll go back to Stealth because that's kind of thing. There's none of that in that. It's all just bombastic. It's just, you'd have rock music playing in the background and that's it. Right. So I think it's a lovely turn of phrase. I like the phrase that he uses at the end there. That's lovely. But I think there's more to Maverick's audio than actually to suggest it's just power. I think there's a lot more to it than that. And that's what gives it its
rewatchability.
Yeah, 100%.
It's
100%.
that, and like I love that he's like the scene that he had the most overhead was that helicopter. I agree with him 100%. That was an amazing scene, but I have yet to, in all the times I've talked about it on the podcast, that one hasn't. There's so much that hasn't come up, and that's what makes this so rewatchable. To your point, like I mean, I remember I don't even remember the actual scene, but I know there was a scene where I heard the whooshing over the wings when I first got this, that I told people about, like, there's details here that you're going to hear, but I didn't want to give too much away because, one, it was early, people hadn't got the disc, some people hadn't seen it, but there's so many, like you said, Steve, so many little details to this that we as home theater fans love this stuff, because it's like that, it's literally only for us. Because if you're listening to this, even on just a simple, like a sound bar, you're probably not pulling out that detail. It's there, but it's so muddied by everything else coming out of that same speaker, right? It's just not exactly the same. And it's in our room where we can hear these noises or these sounds all around us and locate it appropriately and take advantage of it.
Well, it goes directly to the point that you were making on your Takeover Tuesday podcast that I was listening to today. I know John was as well, where you talk about the difference between loud and dynamic.
Yeah.
And in Top Gun is in properly set and properly, exhibited in our rooms or wherever.
Right.
It is dynamic all day long. It is not just loud. It's far from it. Much more layered than that.
Yeah.
It's great. Very cool. There can be no discussion about this other than superlatives.
Exactly. The other thing I wanted to mention, and I love what he said here, and it bears repeating, is he says, I think a lot of the evaluation of the sound has to do with our rooms, our gear, our speakers, and how well we hear, how well the soundtrack is reproduced in our rooms. What might stand out to you might not stand out to me. And I mean, that's on everything. And that's what makes this so much fun. That's what I've found by doing this. Like when I first set out and I'm doing this podcast and I'm giving you what I hear, I'm not saying that's definitive. I'm saying this is what I hear. And it's also not everything I hear, but and that's what's so much fun. We've got a discussion going, and Maverick has really been week after week, people are like, oh, I heard this and I heard this. And it's like, that's the fun stuff that I want to do with this podcast, is like, let's talk about all these different experiences and stuff, because no two rooms are alike and no two set of ears are alike. We all hear and see things differently than everybody else. But I mean, there is some commonality there, of course, but it's like, but that's what makes this fun. And that's why, like, I can go into your room and be like, I don't like it as much as I like my room. Doesn't mean your room's wrong. It's set up for you and what you really like.
Mm-hmm. How dare you?
He just knows I was looking at him. I've been in your room, John. I like your room.
Yeah.
Hey, mine's available to you. It's just a bit of a swim.
Yeah. Well, hey. It's a bit of a swim is right. How much has changed in your room since that? Mine's changed since you were in mine too. So
me?
Yeah.
Everything. I didn't have any of this.
Oh, I didn't have. Yeah, you didn't have the projector.
I didn't have the speakers or this. I didn't have anything.
What'd you have for speakers when I was there?
I just had that home theater in the box.
All right. I got to come back.
That I started with and got rid of because it was poor.
Yeah. Let's see.
I was testing the boundaries of what Lydia would let me get away with in our living room.
And it just kept going.
And then I just pushed right past them and kept going.
Well, you also started out with a budget to redo the garage that included like $80,000. Right. So that gave you a little bit of leeway.
Gave me a little bit of leeway. Yeah.
We can do this or this. Okay, do that.
Right.
Phew.
Reverse psychology, they call that, I think.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. The Wall, NIKHIL, Home Cinema at Home Cinema Geek on Twitter says, The Wall, Prime Video 4K, gritty, tense, and amazingly shot movie. Once you watch it, you will understand why I put shot in quotes. From home theater experience perspective, it's not full of booms and bangs, but what it has sonically is very effective. Check that out. That sounds good.
Hey, not to interrupt, but am I still connected?
You're here.
Yeah, I can see you. I can hear you.
Yeah, we can all see you.
Well, because my screen's like rebooting. I can't see any. It went black and...
No, you're on.
Yeah, okay. Still there.
Well, I can't see anything, so...
Not to interrupt, but I might not even be there to interrupt.
Well, that's why I wanted to know if I was interrupting or not. Okay,
just in case you're not wearing pants, do not stand up, John. We can still see you.
Exactly.
No.
Let me know if I'm not here because I can't see. I can't see.
Let me know if I'm not here. Is that like raise your hand if you're not here?
Yeah, I don't know how you'll let me know. I guess
that's quite a deep question, quite philosophical there.
Right.
Oh, good stuff. Good stuff.
I think. Therefore, I'm not.
Yeah. At Danny Speakers, Dan Carpenter got my Brightside Home Theater shirt on, trying to get the word out. Did you see that tweet? When he was at the Patriots game on Sunday.
I did see that. Yeah.
So 60,000 people he advertised to. I haven't seen our numbers go up yet, but
no.
More work to be done.
Hey, it's just we're a tough crowd to find. That's for sure. That is for sure. A lot of eye rolls on that 60,000 people, and we're all used to it. It's like, one of those. And Corinder, everyone is smart, but in a different way. Have you found
your way yet?
He said, have you found in which way you're smart yet, DJ?
That's awesome.
I'm like, nope.
Ouch.
That's great.
So he wrote, LOL, just had to say that after listening to today's Takeover Tuesday episode. I'm like, I had to read it. No, and that's my point. But I'm always searching, and that's all that counts. It's like, I'm still looking. So that will do it for this. We'll wrap that up. That'll wrap up listener experiences really well.
Yeah.
All right. And this is the part where we would normally go across the pond, but we aren't going across the pond because he's already here 2 weeks in a row. This is nice. This is really nice.
It's fun. What time is the number 78 to Albuquerque, by the way? I might have missed the last pass.
Yeah. Oh, well. All right. What are we? Oh, we're getting to 4K discs now. So we're getting to what's coming out next Tuesday. All right. No, let's see. HD experiences. What's coming on Tuesday? We actually have a few decent ones here. Let's see. Where's the first one? First one, Reservoir Dogs from 1992 coming in 4K. I'm looking forward to that one. There's a nice steelbook of that too. Real nice steelbook of that. We get Wayne's World, also from 1992 in 4K. Can't wait to read
the to the other.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Used Cars from 1980. Oof.
Corey Haim?
Is that them?
That's License to Drive, isn't it? Sorry.
Yeah, that's License to Drive. This is
Kurt Russell? Kurt Russell?
Kurt Russell, Jack Warden, Robert Zemeckis film. Yep. Used Cars. And then we have 3,000 Years of Longing from this year. Have you seen that, Steve? Do you know that?
No,
one?
I haven't. No, I
don't know.
I'm quite happy to leave it 3,000 years, I think, before I see that.
I don't even know what
I've read about it.
I haven't heard anything about
3,000 years of not wanting.
Right.
No. It's a no. I know. I think it's an art house thing. It's not quite.
Oh, okay.
My sort of thing. Yeah, I think it might be outrageously wrong. I think it is.
Elvis's Blue Hawaii from 1961 in 4K.
Actually, John, are you sure that's not the one you bought for $9.99 and not the?
I'll double check, but I'm pretty sure.
Have you guys seen that? I hear bad things about Elvis's movie career. I've never seen any of his
I've never
films.
seen an Elvis movie, to be honest with you. Never seen one.
Yeah, I want to say I saw them when I was a kid, and my parents had them on in the house. I can't say I sat down and actually paid attention to one. I know they're all I know about them from memory is like what the comedian said. I can't even remember who it was, but it's like he couldn't even act, so they just told him to sing his lines. It's like stuff like that. But
Yeah.
The Elvis movie this year, though, was really good. That was good.
Yeah,
yes, I enjoyed the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I've never seen his movies.
Yeah.
No, the 4K disc of that's really good. I know you said about it. I watched it last about month or so. I thought it was really, really good. Such a good film, an amazing disc. Yeah, really, really good.
And we were supposed to be getting Tom Clancy's Jack Ryan seasons 1 and 2 on Tuesday, but those they've been delayed till the 29th, I believe, is the date. And we are also getting Halo season 1. I haven't seen that's getting delayed. So Halo season 1 in 4K we're getting on Tuesday. And then there's a Bourne Complete Collection, collector's edition, that I think comes with a backpack and everything. It's like $129.
Shouldn't it come with a rolled up newspaper to hit people with?
Yeah. Tried that once. I didn't win the fight. Sonic the Hedgehog.
You shouldn't have taken on Jason Bourne.
Yeah, well, that's the problem.
With a newspaper.
Yeah, with a newspaper. You brought a newspaper to a gunfight. Sonic the Hedgehog 2 is getting also a box set collection, I think. And that's what that...
More about which in a bit.
2-movie collection, I'm sorry. Sonic the Hedgehog 2-movie collection. $42.99 coming on Tuesday. So, and that should do it for this week. Yep, that's everything for this week. So, all right. That would bring us to the part of the show with the real HT experiences. All right, who wants to go first, boys?
I went first last time, so I will let you guys go first this time, if you like. Although I've got a lot.
You've got a lot? Why don't you go first then? I only have like 4.
Okay, okay, I've got 4 as well, so that maybe not a lot. So there we go, maybe that. I thought it was a lot. Okay.
Yeah. John and I share a few.
Okay, well, I finally caught up this week with Sonic the Hedgehog 2.
Nice.
Now I saw it in the cinema with someone age appropriate, I hasten to add. And I saw it in the cinema and thought it was really good. I enjoyed it. And I've had the disc since it came out and never got round to watching it. And I did this week. And I mean, the film is fun. It's a Sonic the Hedgehog film. It's not The Godfather. It is what you'd expect it to be. But the disc is exceptionally good, I thought.
Yeah.
I think this one, bearing in mind it's another Paramount disc, in some respects gives Maverick a run for its money in terms of its presentation. It looks absolutely stunningly good and sounds really good as well. There's some really clever Atmos stuff in it. Mm-hmm. There's a bit where one of the characters replicates himself. So there's loads of them. And then you then get the voice coming from all the different speakers and the Atmos speakers and stuff.
Yeah.
I think this is a really, really good disc. And so if we were talking last week about top 10 discs of the year or the best discs of the year. Not the film. I'm not comparing the film to Maverick. I wouldn't dare.
Yeah.
Especially not on this podcast. But
you're already on thin Christmas ice here, Steve.
Yeah, quite absolutely. I'm not going to jump back through that hole. But in terms of the quality of the disc, I think this is one of the best discs I've seen, let alone this year. It is beautiful. It's demo material, start to finish. And now, have you guys watched it all the way through? I know you've seen bits of it, DJ, but
no, I've seen the whole thing. I saw the whole thing. I did.
So
we did a review on it. I did a review on it before Maverick even came out, and it had me super hopeful. Well, you don't listen to everything, I'm sure.
I'll do my best.
Or it all like glazes over, I do tend to roll on for a bit. No, it's Mike Schramm actually was the one that turned me on to. I hadn't even seen the first one. And I was like, I've been here. I heard some really good reviews about it. Then Mike talked about with this one particular scene towards the end. And I was like, all right, I got to check this out. So I grabbed it on Kaleidescape and I was just like, and it's super vibrant, but it's kind of like Multiverse of Madness, right? And it's like it just lends itself to be that vibrant because of the material. And but yes, the sounds, like the rings, the sounds of everything going on all around it, the waves. I remember that scene. It is a phenomenal disc that I knew. It also comes from Paramount, like you said, and you're like, it was right before Maverick was going to drop. I think I saw it like the week before it came out on Maverick was coming out on Kaleidescape, and I'm like, I am super hopeful for how good Maverick is going to be. And that's the other thing that's amazing about Maverick is like we were all nervous because when your hopes are so high that you're afraid that the disc just, and that's happened to us, right? We get a disc and it just doesn't live up to what your expectations were. And here we are still talking about it. It's like it's surpassed. And that's why I think like, yes, Sonic is, but like we said last week, Sonic is a great disc. It could be a movie of the year disc, but it's this, right? It does have that but in that it's kind of a kid's movie. It's kind of like, it's not one that I'm going to rewatch a bunch of times, but it is, as a home theater fan, it's a must-see through, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just, it blew my mind. I was watching it and just thinking, well, look how good that looks. Look at the detail. Like I say, the vibrancy of the colors, the detail levels. It's basically three-dimensional from the outset.
Yeah.
And it never really lets go. And I was watching it with I'll get through this sort of thing, and then just was blown away by it. And as embarrassing as it is to say about a Sonic the Hedgehog film, it's really, really good indeed. So well worth seeing. But don't put it to the top of your list, John.
Well, I have not seen it, but I also just bought that for $9 yesterday. So I'm waiting on that. Waiting on that to come in. Yeah, there was some great Black Friday prices yesterday at Best Buy, and I picked up a bunch of movies.
That's a hell of a good deal as well. That's another really. I mean, it would be worth it just as a demonstration disc. You need never see the whole thing for $10. It's
and again, I bought it purely because of people talking about the home theater aspect of it. I'm not super interested in the Sonic part of it, but I am looking forward to watching it.
I actually did like Sonic by the end of the movie. I liked the character. I was like, hey, he's pretty cool.
It's fun. Well, and to be fair, John, is a little bit of kind of busman's holiday because you sell Sonic comics, I noticed.
I do.
On your new comics day. So, it's good product research.
Exactly.
I saw
I'm
this.
I'm going to write off the $9 to the store. So.
There you go.
So that's my first of my ones. So now it's your guys' turn.
What do you want to do next, John? We'll save our show title for the last.
Well, then, I watched Maverick. I had to get through it, because as last week I hadn't watched it yet. So,
good. More Maverick talk.
Yeah. So I've got nothing to add, like we all know
Come on.
at this point. But I did sit down and watch Maverick. Yes. And, 2 thumbs up. I mean, I can't say anything bad about it. It was just a phenomenal disc and experience. So, yeah.
What'd you think of the aspect ratios on your screen?
I mean, I noticed it every time it happened. It didn't detract for me at all. Like I don't have a 240 screen, so it only looks good to me. Like there's nothing negative about it on a 16:9 screen because it just opens up more, more viewing area. But, I thought they used it where it needed to be used. Every time you would expect to have that wide open screen, you had it. So, but yeah, I don't always notice the shifting aspect ratios. So I made a conscious effort to be looking for it every time it happened. And I felt like it happened when it needed to happen. So, but yeah, there's no bad, again, nothing bad here. I don't mask. I don't put anything up. So it doesn't affect anything for me. So.
All right. Yeah. It's awesome. I love it.
Yeah.
I watched it. Like I said, watched it again.
Well, again, now I put it away in my closet. I'm not sure that I'm going to pull it out again this week.
Oh my God.
But I will definitely watch it again.
I saw it all through this week as well, and same exactly as John says. It's exactly right. But I think I've got some time off next week and some time spare, so I'm sure I'll end up watching it again. I may do it back to back with the original, although I only watched that not that long ago. But I may do that as well, just for Watson giggles.
Yeah,
I've got a stack of 30 other movies, so it's watch Maverick again, or it's get to something else.
Right.
So,
but there's a lot of good stuff, though. That's the thing is there's so much other stuff to watch, and it's but that's how good it is. And it's just fun to do. And it is a conversation thing right now. It's like everybody's talking. People are seeing it for the first time. And that's what gets you the bug. It's like, I'll see somebody talk about a scene and I'll just go watch that scene. You know?
Well, and it's funny because, and again, I know you don't frequent the Facebook groups and anything like that, but, going back to that comment earlier about presentation and speakers and calibration and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Like there's a bit of division out there regarding this movie. Like not everybody thinks that it's a reference quality disc.
Yeah.
And I go back to, well, how are you watching it? Are you watching it in a calibrated room with good acoustic? Like, how are you watching this and making these comments? Because the disc is the same. Everybody gets the same disc.
Right.
So,
right.
And like you said, people hear things differently, but to anybody that just doesn't feel like it met their expectations, I wonder what kind of equipment they're using and if they're able to get all the things that are there.
Yeah. So, see, I'm wondering, and now, I mean, it's been out for a while. It's what, Shane? Is it Shane? Is it last name Shane Lee? Is that him? That he put out the thing where he actually downgraded the sound on YouTube.
Oh yeah.
And I respect his opinion a lot. I mean, he has a great system, right? He's running a Trinov. It's calibrated. He's got Kaleidescape. He's got Zapiti. He's got a great system where he knows his stuff. And he was like the first person. And when you see somebody like that when he saw it on first viewing, I think he said he gave like the sound like a 9.2 or something, and he downgraded it to an 8.1. And I'm not calling, that's why I'm like, why am I being shy about not using his name? Because I'd love to talk to him about it. I mean, he's way bigger than we're nothing. I'm nothing. He doesn't care about me. But I just wonder, like, what do you, like, and that's why I wanted to talk to so many other people about it. And like, it is, what is he hearing? And it's like, but one of the things I will agree with him on, and this is where I think a lot of people are doing, they're not rating it on its own. I think maybe what Shane was doing is because he mentioned Midway, and he's like, it doesn't have the battle scenes of Midway. Well, no, but it's not Midway. Right? And the sound that's in Midway and the sound in those battle scenes are absolutely amazing. But that's multiple planes. Those are aerial gunfights while they're trying to bomb ships. That's way more stuff going on the screen. This is more nuanced. This is like taking Midway and go, let's turn it into like Gravity, where it's got a little bit of nuance to it, something nice, right? So that's where I think he's not wrong. He's right. It's not Midway, but it's not supposed to be. But it's still like, it's for the year. It's the disc that you just like, it's got incredible bass. And that's what Todd and I were talking about when he did it in his room. And granted, that's his room with his 4 subs and it's properly calibrated if you listen to that podcast. And it's like, that's what you could expect to get out of that. I don't think I'm getting what Todd's getting in my room, but I'm getting the best that I can get in my room. It's not the disc that's hurting it,
Well, right. That's the thing. Because again, everybody gets the same disc.
Yeah.
So.
For the record, I'm very glad it's not Midway.
I knew that was coming.
I will see it again eventually. I'll get round to it.
Yeah. Why? There's so much other great stuff.
It will. Just so that I can tell you you're right.
Yeah. No, that's okay. Hey.
No, I need to listen to it again. Yeah. I do. I've got to give it another go. It's become too big to ignore.
Yeah. Or you could just be like, all right, Steve's no longer joining us. Right now, it is too bad.
I draw the line at Midway.
Yeah, I can't do this. Like the battle over the Pacific is me and Steve.
Yeah.
All right. Mine, I will go right with my first one. I'll just go right to Aquaman. I have that on the Kaleidescape. And I'll tell you, when I first bought it on Kaleidescape, I was super excited because that is one of the movies that has variable aspect ratios. and I'm not a fan of it in that movie. I was excited when I got my Kaleidescape. It is one of the first movies I bought about where I'm like, I knew Kaleidescape didn't do, or I thought they didn't do variable aspect ratios. So like The Dark Knight, for instance, in 4K is just standard 240:1. If you get the Blu-ray version, you do get variable aspect ratios. But I've come to find out that obviously with Maverick and other movies, Wonder Woman being another one, that they will do on select movies depending on what the studio gives them. Well, Aquaman was one of them. I love that movie, but it always took me out of the movie when they switched back and forth because I felt like every scene in that movie is so bright, it's so dynamic, a lot like Sonic 2, a lot like Maverick, because it's a DC movie, but it's got it's very bright, very vibrant colors all through the movie, and every time they switched back and forth. When we were in 240, I didn't have my masking up. And when my masking is up, I feel like it enhances the dynamics of the picture because I'm getting that nice velvet black on the edges, which you don't get with a projector on a 16:9 screen, which is why I made the masking. So when I got Aquaman and it was variable, I was like, oh. So I didn't even watch it. I hadn't watched it. So then I did the upgrade. I did the tweak to the Lumigen where I can now mask it out. And I was like, I'm going to try it out. I did Maverick, but I'd seen that movie how many times recently. But I'm like, now let's do Aquaman where I'm not really sure where all these scenes are. And I wanted to watch it all the way through. And it was amazing. There wasn't a moment I didn't think like, oh, I'm missing something here. It's not framed right or anything. It was just a really nice experience to sit there. And I mean, the colors in this movie are just, it's awesome. It's practically 3D. The picture is just so spectacular. And it's like, and the sound is amazing too. I don't know if you guys have seen this recently or seen it in a while.
Not recently, no.
The bass, it is one of the, it's a reference, to me, it is a reference disc that the butt on it was the variable aspect ratio. This is when I didn't like it. And now I don't have to worry about that. And it's great. Trying to think. Oh, at the 56-minute mark, I got some timestamps here. The 56-minute mark, Willem Dafoe's on the beach with young Aquaman. And Aqualad, yeah.
Aquaboy.
And but he's got on like a black suit. But I think the idea was like, you know how it had the little like hexagon shapes to it? I think each one was supposed to be like from a shell, right? So you know when you look in a shell, you get that rainbow effect. Check that out because it looks awesome. That's the other thing. I haven't seen this since I've had the Lumigen. So I'm seeing this at a whole other level. I'm seeing this like an OLED, right? And it looks phenomenal. And like his black suit, and then you'll just see one of them, I think up on his right shoulder as you're looking at him, if I remember right, you'll see like a little rainbow shimmer. And you're like, where did that come from? It just looks so nice. The battle scene at 127 with Black Manta and everything that takes on. Where is that supposed to be? Somewhere like Italy or something like that, John?
Yeah, it looks like it.
Yeah.
You were just there, weren't you?
Well, I wasn't. I was just in Italy, but I wasn't where they filmed that.
Oh, I didn't know if you were there. I thought you might have said that. That's why I was saying.
No, I'm not sure where that was exactly.
Okay,
but we didn't go to like the seaside. We didn't go to the.
Oh, coast. Okay. But the colors on that and the color of Mira's hair. It's just, I mean, it's so red.
It's gorgeous.
It's ridiculous. So comic booky, so great. I loved it. But then what was nice about that is you go to right from there. If you remember in the movie, she steals the boat. Remember that was pretty funny. And it's like, what? They're not for public use.
The desert, right?
No. They've already been to the desert. Now they got the bottle, and that was at the battle with Black Manta. Is at that little city on the water. But then now he's been knocked out. They're in the boat, and they go to the trench battle, which was from the comic book. There were some scenes in there that were like literally right out of the comic book.
Right.
But what I was going to say is like, it's the difference between those two scenes. The battle with Black Manta in that little town there, super bright. I mean, the roofs of the buildings are that bright red or what I think the clay color, but gorgeous looking. But then it's a night scene. Everything's dark, but then he has to use the flare as he's going through the water. I mean, the detail that you're getting there, it's just so nice. So good. At 1 hour, 44 minutes and 40 seconds, more rainbow effects when Aquaman surfaces under the ocean when he first runs into his mom there. Spoilers. I mean, this is an older movie.
Right.
But check that out. It's like the rainbow effect you see in the sky and how vibrant those colors are. It's so nice. 1 hour, 50 minutes and 5 seconds. The vibes. You know, when he sees the trident sitting there on the throne and it's glowing, just going boom, boom. You can feel that in the bass on that vibe, but it's not super powerful, but it's enough that you're like, you can feel it like going through your room, almost like you're in water. It was that good. It was so much fun there. Plus, and you're seeing that suit for the first time, and now that's glowing, and then it all ends up on him, of course. 1 hour 56 minutes. That final battle in Ocean Master's suit, the purple of that, the orange and the green, the whole thing. And then during that battle, you have 2 hours is the last one. 2 hours, 4 minutes and 10 seconds. He does Jason Momoa does a pose and he's got the trident out, but it's raining and the rain coming down and hitting. You can see it hitting that trident. It's like a close up and you can hear those raindrops, that high pitch of those raindrops just going ting, 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 and it just sound so clear. So good. I'd never heard it like that before. I'd never heard it that clear before, and it sounded so good. So really enjoyed that.
Now I got to watch Aquaman again.
Exactly. So
add that to the list.
Sorry, not sorry.
Yeah.
But it was really good. And a lot of fun. Honestly, I liked the movie anyways, but it was a lot more fun than I even thought I was going to have.
Right.
So really enjoyed that. So, all right, Steve, you're up next.
Now, have we got a moratorium on horror films, or are we still going to allow
no,
a couple
because
more?
I've got a horror to talk about as well. So.
Okay. My one is Barbarian, which I saw this week.
You talked me out of watching that.
Well, yeah, we've got an interesting discussion here, haven't we, DJ? Because you've got people that say it's great, and then me, who's got a different view.
Yeah, no, and I'd love to that'd be funny if I could get Rich on with you. Because they really liked it. They gave it 5 out of 5. They rank on a 6 rating, and they really liked it. So
it's now I didn't hate it. It's not for me what Cabin in the Woods was for you.
Okay,
but it's not. But it was just very much a case of really, is that it? Is because it's developed some real notoriety. It's become a fairly notorious movie. A bit, sorry to say, John, a bit like X. Right. It's got this kind of a must see. It's genre defining. This is something new. And I'm not going to spoil it at all, guys. I've been thinking carefully about not doing that in any way. But it's a film that for me, and I saw it in the cinema room, albeit on a stream, so that the audio wasn't brilliant, but the video was absolutely fine. It's a 1:8:5 ratio, so it fills the screen. And I think it's a very muddled film for me. It's got lots of different things that they've thrown all in together. And where I think you're going to have your problem, DJ, is with where you have that's your first problem. Your second problem is you have your issues with they just wouldn't do that. And the credibility issues that you have in terms of the believability and that kind of thing. This film is very, very trying when it comes to that.
Okay.
Because, and again, no spoilers, but there at the beginning, right at the beginning, and this is in the trailers anyway, the female lead character is given agency. She is given the sense, the common sense, the intelligence to protect herself. So she takes efforts to ensure that she is safe. And when the story develops, there is a particular time where the story then says to the audience, we can either go this way or we can go that way. And if they go this way, this is the typical horror trope. And if you go this way, this is what you do in real life. And the main character actually says, nope, I'm not going that way. I'm going to be sensible. And the problem is, about 5 minutes after that, all that goes out the window. And it then just becomes, you're by the numbers. Why are you doing that? Why are you going that? Why are you know? And
so it calls it out, whereas like most horror movies, they don't call it out. You're just supposed to suspend belief. This actually calls it out, then does it anyway.
And then does it, and blatantly, and not in an ironic sense.
I see what you're saying.
Because there's no humor in this that I can remember. It's all just by the numbers. And with all the muddled stuff that's going on that you've seen a million times in a million other movies, or at least I have, because of the horror movies and everything else. It then that's just another irritant in this sort of story that's very muddled. So I mean, obviously fair play to people that like it. Good on them. I mean, I'm glad that they did. But there, as I say, if once you've seen it next October, then I will. It's one of those you'll want to talk about afterwards. And I suspect that this is one you're going to be
starting to dread Octobers.
But you're just going to be like, oh, it was so stupid because then this happened, and then why did that happen, and then why did they do that, and how did that happen, and that's what I found myself doing. So I really wanted to like it, and I just was, is that it? And I wouldn't buy it. This is not one I'll see again. This just I'm done on that film. It once was enough. And the critics, I think on IMDb it's 79 rating, which is a high, high rating, especially for a horror film. Yeah. But on Twitter, other than the guys that you tweeted out from the Talk podcast, isn't it?
Yep.
A number of people have tweeted me and said, I don't get it either. I don't know what this is all about. So it's quite divisive. But then that's
fine.
I wouldn't want to talk you out of it.
No, but
again,
that's
same
what
with you, John. It would be worth seeing just to get your opinion on it.
I probably will still see it, but I was keen on watching it like last week, and I put something else on instead because I saw your tweet about it. I think it's on HBO Max here right now.
Okay.
So I mean, see it when you can. Don't rush to it. I would say. And especially neither of you is not particularly horror fans. And again, there's no supernatural stuff to this. This is by the numbers. This is, could it happen? But, for me, rather than watch this again, I'd go and see I'd put on The Hills Have Eyes, Hills Have Eyes 2, the 2 remakes. I would put on, Don't Breathe 2. Those are the movies that I would go to before I went back to this. And I think those films do it better. But, see what you think, guys. I'll be really curious to see what you make of it. Yeah. But for me, it just didn't. It as a horror fan, it just did not do what I wanted it to do. But yeah, so it'll be an interesting discussion when you have seen it. So we will see. So that's my one. That's my next one.
All right, John. What do you got?
Well, I'll stick with the horror too. Then I started watching The Midnight Club, which is streaming on Netflix. This is a Mike Flanagan show. He did. The Haunting of Hill House, Haunting of Bly Manor. I enjoyed both of those series, so I was anxious to get to this. I'm only 3 episodes in. Again, Netflix, so it's got Dolby Atmos, it's got Dolby Vision, and I think it's really, really well done. I am enjoying the show so far. Like I said, I'm only 3 episodes in. I was a little on the fence after the first episode, but the second episode really drew me into it. So I am going to keep going forward. I was thinking I was going to give it one more, and if the second episode didn't do it, I was probably going to let it go. But I'm kind of thoroughly hooked into it now. But really good use of Dolby Atmos here in this, because again, being horror, there's all the jump scares and there's lots of things happening all around you all the time for that spooky ambiance. And I think they're doing a really good job with it. So I haven't finished it, so I can't highly recommend it to everybody. But so far, I'm liking it. And if you like horror, again, this is more the supernatural type horror, ghost stories and things like that. But if you like it, you might want to check it out. So,
is it an anthology, John, or is it an ongoing?
No, this is ongoing.
Okay.
Now, because I also I don't have this written down, but I was also watching the Cabinet of Curiosities, or I forget exactly what it was called now. And I got 7 episodes in, and I haven't watched the last episode because I found it getting progressively worse as I was going on. And it is an anthology, so the last episode could be great, but I found myself just like marking the time through each episode, like just checking my watch and like, is this over yet? Because I wasn't super into it. It also did very well with Atmos though. Like it used Atmos very, very well, but I couldn't stick with it. Like it just, I lost interest in it. So.
All right.
I don't know if anybody else has watched any of that, but
no, but I was curious about it because it's a cabinet of curiosities, isn't it?
Right.
So I was curious about it, but and I've got some time next week, but yeah, I might skip that now. That I've got so many.
Yeah,
other
like I
discs
said,
to watch.
and I just found them really long and kind of not super engaging. Yeah, and it was a lot of Lovecraft stuff, which I'm really a fan of. Like I like Lovecraft in the stories and the Cthulhu stuff, and a lot of them took place in Arkham, Massachusetts. You know, they used all the settings, but man, they just to me dragged through the episodes. So,
no, that's okay. I'll skip that then. I think.
Yeah.
All right. Next up for me, Black Panther 4K on Kaleidescape. That is not variable. You can get the variable on Disney Plus. It has one of the better transition scenes in variable if you like that. But on Disney Plus, they'll have the IMAX enhanced, and one of my favorite transitions is when he goes into Wakanda for the first time at the beginning of the movie, and he's like, he says this never gets old, Chadwick Boseman, and then it gradually opens up as he goes into the trees. But other than that, the rest of the movie, it really didn't do much for me. So I really do prefer the 240 on that one. But this movie here, obviously I watched it because we have, Wakanda Forever coming out on Thursday. Looking forward to that. And just to be able to take in Chadwick Boseman again before we go to the theaters, which from what I understand, supposed to be pretty emotional, but they get it out of the way early on.
It's bookending. There are 2 bookends apparently. So you've got to, yeah. I read the Empire review earlier. That it bookends. So it's and it looks like the last one is particularly, moving. It's not just Black Panther. It's Chadwick Boseman as well.
Right.
I think whether they step out of the film, I don't know. But yeah.
But watching Black Panther again, it is just it another one of those. It's just a glorious movie for HDR. Opening scene, such a fun scene because it's when they first open and they're showing the space shot, it's just the whole screen. It looks like space, but it has that rainbow little bit of effect. Again, you get that rainbow effect there, the spectrum, very vibrant, very nice looking, but it doesn't really do much until it moves. And then the whole screen, it becomes like 3D because it looks relatively flat when you're just looking at it. But then the camera starts to move through space, and then everything that you're seeing on that screen instantaneously shifts, giving you that 3D effect. And when you see stuff like this is where I'm like, we have to be so close to passive 3D. And I'm losing my voice over it.
Yeah.
Man.
It's that close.
Verklempt.
No, I got like this thing in my throat.
All right, okay, you're all right. See, my only problem with that, while you sort your throat out, my only problem with going back and rewatching it, which I want to do before I see Wakanda Forever, is of course my only problem is we're now so many films on beyond it that you can't you watch Black Panther, but then you've got to watch Infinity War, you've got to watch Endgame, which is not a chore, other than it's a lot of investment in time.
Right.
Yeah, and so that I'm finding that a problem with Marvel movies now. I'm thinking, well, I'd love to. Well, yeah, because you're thinking, well, I can't just watch. We've got Guardians, the holiday special coming out. You can't just watch Guardians 1 and 2. You then need to watch everything that's come after that to then put yourself back in that story. And I think the further they get away from these, the phase 1, 2, 3, the more difficult that's becoming. And that actually, I think, is going to be quite a significant issue for Marvel moving forward. By the time we get to Secret Wars and the Kang Dynasty, we're going to be so far beyond what came before that you're gonna have to do. It'll be like James Bond. You've got to watch them all before you watch the next one.
Yeah.
And actually, the Bond films thread that needle very well. But Marvel, it's so interconnected that there's an issue that for me, I appreciate, maybe not for everybody, but that's the issue that I'm encountering. Because I was just thinking, as you were talking, I thought, yeah, do you know what? I need to rewatch that before I go and see Wakanda Forever. But then I'm thinking, yeah, but that's not the end of the story. It's not as like the two films do that.
Right.
There's another 5, 6, 7 movies in between from one to that. And I haven't got time to rewatch all of those as much as I'd love to have. Right. So that's the only slight thing for me. But I remember the disc being very nice indeed. And I think the 4K disc doesn't have variable aspect ratio, does it? The 4K one?
No.
It's it's
only on Disney Plus. Yeah, it's only on Disney Plus.
Does the 3D version do it?
Mm-mm.
Because it did in Civil War. It had variable aspect ratios in Civil War on the 3D disc, but the 4K disc was normal. So I'm not 100%. But yeah, so I will watch it again. But that's always the issue. But I do remember it being very nice.
I get what you're saying, but let me ask you this: isn't that more of an indictment on how good all of these Marvel movies are?
Yeah, that's not a criticism.
That's what I mean. No. Like. You can't just watch one, so then you don't end up watching one because it'll Shawshank you into the entire MCU, right?
Well, that's therein lies the problem. I haven't got the time for that.
Exactly. So you're like, but see, I don't have that problem. I love going back, and I will every now and then. Like certain things will happen in a movie, and I think that's what's fun about some of these Marvel movies, that it'll make you go back and go, ooh. That has such importance here, but it plays back and it makes you go back. And that's what's fun about Disney Plus, right? Because now everybody that has Disney has access to all of these, and you can watch. It makes Disney Plus that much more viable for everybody. So I think it's where you're looking at it as like a home theater fan, where we have so much other stuff to ingest in our rooms. They're looking at it as a business model that I think actually works. Especially for kids, it's like, what are you going to do? Here, hey, I've got a 10-year-old. Here, start with Iron Man. I'll catch up with you in a year. And you've got all that content to take in. All right, cool.
Here's a big bag of chips. Just eat that. And we'll see you in a year's time.
Yeah, that would have been a miserable childhood for us.
Yeah. Although we'd have taken these films when we were kids.
Oh, yeah.
We had the Incredible Hulk TV series.
Yeah.
When you put the two together.
In the Spider-Man show.
Oh, with the glasses.
And the
Captain
when America movie.
Crawling over the house. Yeah. It's just a flat screen, literally a picture, and he's crawling over this thing.
Literally just ropes shooting out of his wrist.
Exactly. I loved it at the time.
Oh, me too.
I got just one other scene from Black Panther, and it's at 9 minutes, but that jungle scene at the opening, that is it's an HDR nightmare. It's
calibration.
Oh yeah, you have to. That I think is worse than even House of the Dragons on that beach scene, because it is so dark, but yet so bright at times, because with the gunfire, and then you're looking at the face, and then you look over at the little dog, or the first time you see Black Panther in the jungle there, and it's just so dark, and but it's such a great scene. It's so for HDR, it's check out the detail. If you got a nice OLED, that's a great scene for that. It's so good. So good. And then the rest of the movie is too. I mean, if it's too good, I actually found that during the battle scene when when he's first fighting to become king in the pond there and everything, it looked a little too fake. The area around it, you saw too much detail of fake rock, and even into the water, you could see. You're like, oh, that's a pool. It didn't look as natural as it did before, when you had just when you were in the theater and the screen wasn't as crystal clear. So, but it still is a great movie. Great movie. All right, what else do we got, boys?
I've got another one, which I don't know whether you guys have seen, and this is one I watched last night, which I thought I absolutely had to bring this up. Operation Mincemeat.
No, but I just saw the disc for it the other day.
Yeah. Now, this is a film from 2021, I bought it as a blind buy a couple of months. Actually, no, do you know what? I think it was probably in the spring. And it was a cheap one. This is a film. It's a true story. It's got Colin Farrell, Jason Isaacs, various other people, and it's a British film. It's a true story based on Operation Mincemeat, surprisingly enough, which is something I'd never heard about, which is a 1943. The Allies are going to invade Sicily. This is their first proper foray back into Europe, and this is the start of the invasion. And what they decide to do is they know, everybody knows that the Allies are going to have to invade Sicily. It's the only way strategically they can do it. And so a decision is made that they have to convince the Germans that in fact they're going to invade Greece instead. And the way they go about it is, and it's not a spoiler because it's in the trailer, how they do it is the key, is to fake a dead body washing up on the shores of Spain with these papers and these plans, knowing that those would fall into the hands of the Germans to say that they're going to invade Greece and not Sicily. So the Germans would pull back from Sicily, go to Greece, and then the Allies would invade. So the story then unfolds, and it's how this works, how it happens, and it is gripping. It is absolutely fascinating, and so much stuff that I never knew. I'd never heard of Operation Mincemeat. It sounds ridiculous, and it's deliberately a ridiculous name. And it's amazing. And so not only is the story itself really gripping and well worth watching, there is a subplot that I am not about to give away that is a true story. It's all going on at the same time, that for movie fans, and I mean, John, DJ, you guys, probably most of the people watching this, it is a true story subplot that is absolutely brilliant for those of us that are movie fans. And I don't want to give any way more than that, because when you first hear this, you'll think you're hearing things, as I did, and I put it back and played it again. And then as it goes on, this subplot is playing out. And as I said, it's a true story, and it is just brilliant. It's really clever. So if you can get it, it's bound to be on Kaleidescape. It's bound to be. It's only on Blu-ray. It's not 4K. It doesn't really need 4K because it's a spy movie rather than a war movie. Yeah. But there are some nice surround sound. It's only DTS 5.1, but there's some nice scenes in pubs and clubs where you've got some nice surround envelopment and that kind of stuff. There is a scene in a storm, so you've got the rain and everything else moving around. But it's the story's the key, and it genuinely fascinating. You'll end it and then be like, I need to speak to people about it, because does anyone else know this? Am I the only one that didn't know it? Yeah. So it is well worth picking up. It'll be dirt cheap because it's 2021 film. It's a British movie. I'm sure it's over there. But yeah, I really recommend that.
I'm not seeing it on Kaleidescape. I'm not seeing it. Yeah.
Oh, I am surprised. How about on Amazon? DJ, can you see?
Oh, I probably could get it there. Let me look. Yeah, I could look that up.
Just check the Blu-rays out there. I'd be curious to see. But I'd heard about the film, but I didn't know anything about the story. And what I've told you is just obviously the tip of the iceberg. But it's fascinating and give you a whole new perspective on the war. And as I said, this particular subplot is great. And it would be very fun to talk about. And if anyone listening to this that's seen it, please don't spoil it in the green room, because it's so cool that you just don't want it. You do not want it ruined for you.
No, it's not even showing up at all, even on Blu-ray.
Wow!
Operation Mincemeat. Yeah, and I just saw it somewhere as well.
Maybe it's on Amazon. Is it on Netflix? Yeah. Maybe it's even better if you can stream it for free. That'll be amazing. Yeah. Who's the studio behind it?
It is on Netflix.
Oh, it's on Netflix. That's where we saw it. That's why I can't get it anywhere yet. Okay.
Fantastic. Oh, well, there we go. Great stuff.
I know I saw it somewhere recently, and I was like, all right, so we got to take that.
Adding it to my watch list right now.
Good man. It's a weird title. I get that. It is weird, but it's a deliberate title. I mean, it's stupid because it's supposed to be, and it is the real title of the operation. But it's fascinating. And if you like your spy movies, and I know you do, there's no thought control plane in this one, though, DJ. I'm just saying. But it's got if you like your spy movies but a true story, and it really does shoot very close to the truth. Oh, and by the way, John, you can go and visit the grave of this person that they use, and there's a thing in that in Spain. Yeah, you can actually go and visit it in Huelva in Spain. So see it, and then go visit the grave.
Go visit.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is it just an excuse to go back to Europe?
Yeah, well, quite absolutely. That's all we need. That's all we need.
Yeah.
It start in Sicily, invade the beaches of Sicily, and then
I'll backtrack it right through Greece, and
that's the way to go. But yeah, so see it, guys. Let me know what you think, because I really want to know what you guys make of it. It was a really nice surprise for me. I'd sort of watched it again a little bit I suffer it. So I bought it. I thought, well, I might as well see it. But from minute one, I was hooked. And as I said, the subplot just keeps it going nicely, plus the main story.
Nice.
Because there are some very cool things in this.
Cool.
Anyway,
check that out.
Going on now.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
All right. John, these next two we both watched. I know.
Yeah, so I guess we'll go with Enola Holmes 2.
Yeah.
Which is streaming on Netflix. Again, Dolby Vision, Dolby Atmos. I thoroughly enjoyed this movie.
Yeah.
I really liked the first one, and you always are hopeful that a sequel will live up to the original. I don't know if this is quite Empire Strikes Back, but I like this at least as much as the first one.
Yeah.
If not more.
I felt that too. I was wondering if you were going to go there. I felt the same way. I'm like, I'd have to watch the first one again to see. Because I remember it, but I'm like, I really liked this one. I really liked the home theater part of it. We'll get into that, but it was really good.
Yeah, again, as far as that goes, I thought there was an excellent use of Atmos here. I thought it looked fantastic, and like super fun. Just like Henry Cavill doesn't have enough hats, but I'd watch a Sherlock Holmes movie with him any day.
And him and Millie Bobby Brown have a really good chemistry.
Yes.
I like their, he's way older to be her older brother, but maybe not. Maybe 20 years apart.
You never know.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's 12 years between my sister and myself, so.
Well, my cousin and his younger brother are 20 years apart.
Right.
And I'm right in between them at 10 years. So they're brothers, and one's 10 years younger than me, one's 10 years older than me. Right. So I guess you could have 20 years apart, because Millie Bobby Brown's like 20 something years old, right? And Henry Cavill.
Yeah.
So I guess that's right. But they're just so good together. You just see it. Story wise, it's just a lot of fun. A different look for Sherlock Holmes, for sure.
For sure. But this is kind of his. Again, no spoilers for anybody that hasn't seen it, but this is like his origin story almost, right? Like, At the end of this movie, you kind of have the Sherlock that we've all seen and read and known about over the years.
Yeah, we get introduced to it. Yeah, but
and so this is kind of like his prequel. But yeah, it's really, really, like I said, really fun. And like I said, pretty engaging. I thought the story was very interesting. So
the story's great. It's because it's a textbook Sherlock Holmes type story, told through Enola Holmes, and then so you get that different dynamic there. But I think home theater wise, like the picture in this, John, how it was almost like the Batman, but it's not dark, right? Like it's a softer, like a really nice picture. That was very soft all the way through. Like a lot of atmosphere, like smoky type scenes or whatever.
It's London, right? So London fog, right? We all have the stereotypes, but it's fog. Like there's no sun, right? Ever.
Yeah.
It's always kind of hazy and overcast. But so it makes for that muted picture somewhat, I guess, the feel. But I thought it looked great. Like there was some great detail.
When they went to the drawings and sketches that she does, which came about from the first one, but they she would be figuring something out, and instead of showing you a reenactment of it, they show you a sketch, okay, and it'll have color in it. But that sketch it wasn't muted. It was super clear, vibrant, like great contrast, everything in that sketch. And then they'd come back to the regular scene, and you were like, oh. And it's the difference between the two was really fun. It was like really showed off your picture. At 22 minutes, the thunder rolls as she's walking down the dark street, and you could hear the thunder like right like behind you, but it was like rolling, I think, like across the back of the room. And she's walking down like a dark alley type street type scene, and it's just like boom, and it just kept going. It was really cool. And at 47 minutes, she's going through some clippings of like evidence, newspaper clippings, and every time she moves it, they did this sweeping overhead, like a
right,
and it went over you. So like the whole room was going because that's what was going on the screen. They were like turning the pages of these things or whatever, or the ripping the pages or whatever it was. I can't really remember, but it was. I just remember the overheads going, the whole room going. It was really cool. No spoilers, but at 1 hour 17 minutes, that fight scene with the cops, some characters fight the cops.
Yep. I know what you're talking about.
It's really good. It is so much fun. And the way it happens and everything, and you're just like, what? Huh? And then, and the sound, the way they did it, you had a little bit of, it had some slow motion stuff to it, had some, for the detail, but the sounds moving around the room, really cool. And then I didn't know this was a true story too.
Yes,
based on a true story.
The case that they were investigating was based on a true story.
Right.
Yeah. Nothing else about it was true.
No. Yeah. Right.
But but the case that they were involved in.
Yeah.
Which they tell you up front. They do say that at the beginning.
Oh, I missed it?
Yeah. There's some kind of blurb that pops up about, the parts of the story are true except for the parts that aren't, or something, something like that. But
the matchstick. It was like the women walked out on the thing. That's the
matchstick factory.
Matchstick factory. So that was like at 156, they all start stomping. And I got to imagine that probably really did happen. I bet you that was like their rally cry or something. But that sounded really cool in the room.
Did.
That sounded really, really cool. Like they just stomping on the wooden floor with their heels. And then they start doing it. Like one person does it and then they all do it in unison. And it's just like your room is just like boom, boom, boom. It's really, really cool. Really cool.
Yeah.
So, but fun. I mean, Millie Bobby Brown's awesome.
Yeah.
So good. So, all right. What's up next for you, Steve?
I've got one last one then. That is sort of briefly, again with horror. Sorry, I didn't leave it behind in October. I should have done. But I saw Scream 2 again this week. I watched that again this week, which is a really decent 4K disc. Way, way better than I was expecting.
Really?
I think this looks and sounds better than the first one, and quite dramatically too. So I was very, very pleased with this. I really like Scream 2. A lot of people don't, but I really like it. It's a fun, knowing film, and of course it talks about all our favorite sequels. And so I think it's really good. And if you're wondering, anyone listening or watching this, wondering whether it's worth the upgrade, it is definitely worth it. The 5.1 DTS HD mixes beautifully via Neural X. There's a scene at the end in the theater where you've got artificial thunder being created, and that in Neural X beautifully, like you just said about Enola Holmes, but it beautifully goes up and over the screen and across the room and then back across, which is not something I was expecting from a film from 1997. Right. So that was really nice, and the image quality is beautifully and filmic. Is really detailed. There's a nice sort of thin layer of grain. It's not soft, and it's much better than the old Blu-ray. So I really recommend this, and I think it should be quite cheap as well. It was relatively cheap here. I think it was about $16.99 here. So it'll probably be about the same there, which is not bad for a new release. Right. And it's really good. The only problem I did have is, of course, the opening sequence is in a cinema, isn't it, in a theater? And I discovered they've stolen my popcorn buckets. I don't know what's going on.
They've got them too?
They've got exactly the same ones from Jurassic World Dominion. They are carrying what's her name? Will Smith's wife, Jada Pinkett Smith.
Yep.
Yeah.
She has got the identical popcorn buckets to the ones that I've got in Cinema George. I couldn't believe it when I saw it.
That's
so
funny.
I got it still and put it on Twitter. So it's outrageous that they would copy me from the early 90s.
I know.
Late 90s.
It's
Who
like
knew?
the standard Hollywood popcorn bucket.
Yeah. That's it. Yes.
You got to get some royalties.
Yes, that's it. I'm going to sue. It's the only way. So yeah, but it's a really cool release, and I'm really pleased with it. This is by far the best way I've ever seen it. Didn't you say you bought it, DJ, on Kaleidescape?
Yeah, I have it. I have them all.
Yes,
I bought them all. They ran a sale, and I grabbed them all. I actually wanted to get to the first one, that one. Yeah, and it was October ran out on me, Steve. I got to draw the line somewhere, otherwise I just take in too much horror.
Yeah. But it's really cool. This is one that, as I said, I've been looking forward to it. It was, in fact, the very first DVD I bought back in 1998.
Oh, wow.
And that and RoboCop 2, which was in 98, in the summer of 98, in Boston, as you know, they were still quite hard to come by. They still were not everywhere. And so I remember going to Suncoast. I remember vividly going there, going in, putting down my $30-odd, whatever it was a lot, for a non-anamorphic Scream 2 and RoboCop 2. And at the end of that summer, I think I said to you, at the end of that summer, I had over 40 discs, and I bought a player while I was in America and then brought them all back. And that was not only the first DVD I bought and the first one I watched.
Wow.
Awesome.
It all started in Boston.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. But I knew before I went, I came over looking for it.
Yeah.
I knew that DVD was
You were on a mission.
There. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Some might think it was a summer camp. I thought it was a home theater.
Right.
There you go.
But yeah, so definitely recommend that. Yeah, it's great.
Cool.
And that's my last one for this week, I think.
You think?
Yeah.
It depends on how long John and I talk. You might take in another one.
Right. Yeah. Well, yeah. Oh, and I did see Naked Gun 2 this week as well, but that's only just a little thing. It's fine.
Right.
All right, John. Show title?
Yeah, I guess.
You guess. What do we got, buddy?
Lawrence of Arabia.
Yes.
I mean, everybody knew we were going to talk about this. So, obviously I bought the 4K disc last week. I had to do a lot of hunting to find it because it was not easy to come by and not cheap to come by.
Okay.
I paid a pretty penny for this. This was a blind buy for me. I've never seen this movie. I bought it, number one, because I felt like it was a movie that I should see historically because it's regarded very highly. And lots of people have talked about the transfer in the 4K quality. I thought all of that was spot on, but I did not really enjoy the film. I have to say. I did not.
Well, you told me.
Why? This was a very expensive blind buy that I probably won't watch again. I'm glad that I saw it.
Yeah.
And it is fantastic home theater. It looks. And now again, I can't say it's never looked better because I've never seen it prior to this. But I mean, I have to imagine that this is the best it's ever going to be or ever has been. But I found the movie long and not. I really had a hard time engaging with it at certain points.
This was the original Snyder cut. This is the movie everybody said it's not Lawrence of Arabia.
Right.
It's long, but it's not Lawrence of Arabia. That was because it is long.
But I felt like this was long just to be long in a lot of cases.
Yes.
Yes. Maybe you don't feel that. I don't know how you feel about it, but
I like the movie. I like the arc. What I've always liked about it is the story arc of Lawrence.
Right.
Spoiler. I'll go spoiler free, but the story arc is not what you would expect.
60 years old.
60 years old.
But
you've never seen it, right?
Well, but still.
The story arc of Lawrence isn't what you would expect out of a normal Hollywood movie. And I think to me, that's kind of that, and the story itself is kind of what made this so popular and what makes it, to me, what makes it a great movie. Is that the subject that they're talking about, the character, his story arc, what he does, where he goes, what he turns into. You just it's
right.
I think if you sped it up, it would feel, I don't want to say fake, but it would feel too rushed. Like you need for a person to go through what he went through, it would take time, right? You've seen it, Steve, right? Have you seen it?
No.
No.
I haven't, and I've got the 4K disc as well. And I've had it about 2 or 3 months, and I've not got round to it because I'm trying to find 4 hours free.
It's long.
Right. And I want to watch it in one go. I don't want to, watch it.
Well, it has an intermission.
It does, but I also wanted to be able to do it in one sitting.
Yeah, and so that's what I want to do. And next week is when I'm going to do it, hopefully, because again, I've got some time off next week. I'm taking annual leave that I've accrued, and I've got to have it by the end of December. So I've got a couple of days next week, and that's the top of my list. I want to just sit down and go through the whole thing. So
I'd be really curious to hear your thoughts.
Because I've heard the same thing you said, John. I've heard exactly the same thing that it cost me an arm and a leg. It cost me nearly £55. So that would have been pushing $70. It's a lot of money.
Yeah, that's about what I spent on it.
Yeah, so it was a lot, and that was import fees. So of course I had to send it over. Yeah. So it cost a lot. It's the most expensive single film I've ever bought. Yes. And again, same thing, because I'd heard the transfer is amazing. It looks amazing. And I'm just curious to watch it and just let it kind of wash over me. But I want to do it in one go. I don't want to go away and come back a week later. And because I get the impression that its sweep is such that it needs to be, taken in one go. Yeah. Otherwise, I think it'll fall apart. So I'm looking forward to it. I really am, as much as, and again, I think I may well feel the same as you. But having watched things like Spartacus, having watched Gandhi, having watched some of these classic movies in the last year, and really enjoyed them, just kind of just reveling in the world, and things like Bridge on the River Kwai and those sorts of films as well. I'm hoping this is going to just do the same kind of thing. It's not going to be to modern audience tastes. It's gonna be very, very idiosyncratic.
Well, and that's the thing. It's very 1962 or whatever, wherever it came out. And so you have to look at that. Now, I'll give you a little bit of not really a spoiler, but this will save you some time because I wish somebody would have told me.
You texted
This movie starts, there's about 5 minutes of music with a black screen. Just a black, like I literally thought I had to stop it and start it, and I went to 2 different discs. Like I thought there was something wrong with it. So I'll save you that time.
How long did you wait before you texted me? Because I was at work and I get this text and I start cracking up because I did the same thing. And I was I didn't remember that the first time I put it on, and I was like, oh no. I was like, is my projector not working? Is it not on?
I watched it for like 3 or 4 minutes, and then I stopped it, and I started it again. Right. Then I started it again, and I went 3 or 4 minutes, and then I backed out, shut my DVD player off, turned it back on, did the same thing, turned it off, put the Blu-ray disc in to see, and then that's when the Blu-ray disc did the same thing. That's when I realized that something was going on.
You didn't just skip forward a couple of chapters and just
I did that. Eventually, did that too, just to see if there was a picture, which there was, but and then you come back from intermission and it does it again. So that's at least 10 minutes they could have shaved off the film right there.
Yeah. But it's time to settle and, it was all the rage in the 60s. Spartacus was it.
Okay.
What was the other one? Ben-Hur do it? I think
Ben-Hur.
So Overtures
10 Commandments.
All the rage.
Yeah, Ten Commandments opening is like that too.
Okay.
I think there's actually a picture, but it's a lot of music.
Really thought there was something wrong, and I went back and forth for a while.
That's so great.
All this money for a black screen.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking too. It's like I'm not going to be able to get another copy because the guy doesn't have 2 of them. So.
Oh no. That's funny.
I'm really looking forward to it. I'm going to clear a whole day, which is what it's going to need.
Yeah.
I'm going to clear a whole day, and have plenty of provisions, sleeping bag, the whole works.
Yeah, have food,
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
it is
an alarm in case something happens.
The picture on it though is
it was phenomenal.
It's phenomenal, and there's a lot of John knows there's a lot of night scenes in a desert, as you can imagine, and the way they lit it, and the way they preserved it in this 4K, it's awesome. It's almost, I want to say, like breathtaking because it's from 61, 62, and you're looking at this and you're going, how did they do that? How did they make this look so good? And never mind the day scene and how vibrant everything looks, how like the dirt on his face. And I mean, how are we pulling this much detail out of this movie? And then the sound too. It's an Atmos track.
Yes.
And it's just like there's some battle scenes and there's some the dial, everything about this is just top notch. I can't argue that it isn't slow, but I think that's the purpose. I can't
argue at all about the presentation. Like it was fantastic and it's epic. I mean, it's very grand, as you would expect it to be. But I just found myself, again, story-wise, questioning why he was doing some of the things he was doing and not really, I don't know. I thought I didn't love it. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
But I don't imagine I'll watch it again. Really, I don't think I'll ever watch it again. But I'm glad that I saw it. And like I said, it looks fantastic. So
I will save my timestamps for when Steve watches it, and we can talk about them then.
Yeah, because you don't want to spoil it.
And we'll put that in the show, like spoilers coming up for Lawrence of Arabia. But there is one that I would like that at 2 hours and 6 minutes. The scene, John. He likes your lemonade. That line. It was just hysterical. And it's you'll when you get there, Steve, you'll know what we're laughing at. It's just it's a perfectly placed line. It
was really good.
Perfectly placed scene that you're not expecting, but you're just like, and all of a sudden when he says it, you're just gonna be like, and it like I'm not ruining anything when you see it. You'll just be like, oh my God, that is just so good. And it's like that line, he likes your lemonade. Like what? Like what? I couldn't even imagine what they were thinking when they wrote out this movie, and they're like writers like, let's put this line in there. It was so funny. Oh, so good.
No, well, I should definitely get a chance to see it next week. It's been something I've been looking forward to, but I've just got to have the time.
Yeah,
it's not one I want to do.
It's been a while since I've seen it like front to back, one sitting. When I did it this week, when we were going to, I did it in multiple. I think I did it in 4 sittings. And it's and then especially and it does help that when you get to the intermission, you're like, whoop. It's like I can just. I mean, you have to change discs, right?
I had to change discs.
Yeah,
on 2 discs.
But that's good. It was a good bathroom break, and
that's what they literally put it like on the Kaleidescape. They literally put the bathroom like you could go to the bathroom and come back, and it's still playing. And it's like,
well, that's it. Because even after you switch discs, you get that overture again. So
right.
It is a 5-6 minute intermission.
Yeah.
If it plays all the way through.
Which is kind of cool because they gave you what exactly what you would get. So that's pretty cool. But you could have cropped all that. Like when I watch Lord of the Rings, you guys have to change a disc extended. I just get the whole movie. There's no break. It just goes.
No break.
So, but that's kind of the way it was intended. Lawrence of Arabia, these movies back then, they were like, no, we've got to let our patrons get up and, stretch. Right. So, all right. That will do it, right? Everybody done? That's all of our experiences for the week. That's it, boys. Another week down. You okay, John? You're gonna?
Yeah, I'm gonna sneeze, and I'm trying not to.
Oh, okay. I thought you were gonna cry.
No, I'm trying not to sneeze on camera.
Lawrence of Arabia.
I thought of watching it again.
Yeah, I'm crying because I have to watch it again.
crying because we talk about the price.
Yeah.
But you own it now. You can. You should own it. It's surprising it's that hard to come by, but oh well.
Yeah, it was, but yeah.
All right, that'll do it for this week. Thank you to everybody on the chat. We've had quite the conversation. People saying bye lately. People in the chat just can't stick around and chat like we can, guys. I mean, we're going over.
They don't have 3.5 hours like we do.
Yeah, exactly.
It's gonna be late for Steve.
Hi, everybody. Bye, everybody. They've had dinner. I think a couple people have had breakfast. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's quarter to midnight here.
Yeah.
All right.
I know we're keeping you late.
My earpods have just clicked to say they're about to go flat.
Oh, there you go. Oh,
Graham, that's a good time then.
Graham Cole just said, I had a few intermissions.
Right.
He did leave and come back, but all right. Yeah, Brockstad jumped out. So, all right. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for participating in the chat. We'll be back next week. Every Tuesday, 4 o'clock, we will be on the live stream in the green room, so you can count on that. When Steve and I record, we'll be live in the green room as well. So have a great week, everybody. I will be back on Tuesday with a Takeover Tuesday guest already scheduled, already in the books. We're going to have a good time. This is going to be a really good one. Really good home theater talk. I can't wait for this one. Really looking forward to it. And I don't know what we're doing next week, boys. Maybe the three of us will be together. Maybe we won't. Who knows? We're having fun.
See how it plays out.
Exactly. All right. Johnny, what are they going to do?
Go push play.
That's right. Thanks, Steve.
Thanks, guys. Cheers, guys.
Hey, Fred.
This has been a Hey Fred production with theme music by Jeff Bernhardt and Throne Vault Productions.